Yeah, that's classic there.
Absolutely.
That's old Lamar's theme on BMF.
Is that right?
Yeah, man. He put the knife in somebody, and
So BMF
he
is
was,
what?
huh?
What is BMF?
So that's the story of Big Meech. They was some drug dealers out of Detroit, and they got to be pretty big around the country.
Okay.
They even got into the hip hop game. Doing some some P Diddy type production.
Yeah.
Executives type of guys. They brought up. I know they was tied into the dude. What's my guy down there in Atlanta? Man, I'm suck with names. I can't even think of my man's name.
Hey, wait a minute.
Old age.
I'll be right back.
All right, that's that old age though.
Yeah.
But we great get this. We great get it jumping. Waiting on Cheese to jump on. We'll talk a little Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan tonight. The week in sports. Let's talk about what's on your Mount Rushmores of sport, and just kind of what drove us to loving sports. From a young age, what was the thing that had us gravitating to sports? Looking forward to hearing some of the comments from the people out there. We live on Facebook, so y'all can comment in the comments. Send me some love in my inbox. If you want to come on with us, let me know. We'll arrange that for another roundtable session. So what's going on, Dino? What's going on with you?
Feeling pretty good. I'm okay despite that debacle last night.
Oh man,
I'm doing okay.
That was tough to watch.
Yeah,
tough to watch, man. It's a good thing I was sick last night.
Yeah, you see, that probably has something to do with it.
Yeah, good thing I was under the weather, man. I was like, man, that was just tough watching.
The weather too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but hopefully they pick the pace up next week.
Yeah, I was hoping,
Angela.
I was hoping that the Ravens come out of that bye and beat Minnesota, beat Miami, and beat Chicago, and go into the last piece of the season, with an 8-2 record.
Yeah,
got to be rough last half of the year.
Gonna be some tough sledding.
Yeah.
Cedric James, what's up, homeboy? Getting that crib tight down there, homeboy. I like it. I like what you're doing. The cheese on the beach.
What's cracking, fellas? Can y'all hear me?
Boy, I can hear you. Yeah. This guy.
Yeah.
See what he's
camera rolling.
That's what I'm saying.
Got that footprints in the sand working.
Right.
What's up, fellas?
Man. Oh man, I can't call it. Yeah, we just was talking a little bit about that little ass whooping the Ravens took last night.
Oh my goodness gracious. Gee,
Yeah, I got in the house late. When I got in the house, they was up.
Mm-hmm.
It was 3-0 when I came in the house. And I think I came in and my man had missed the field goal.
That was a bad sign too.
He missed the field goal, and I said, uh-oh. Yeah. They sat on that 3 for a long time. They sat on that 3 for a long time, man.
Yeah, they sure
But,
did.
yeah, it's just like, and with the Ravens, man, when they lose, man, I mean, the city is just,
A different place.
oh man, it's like the world coming to an end, man.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody need to get fired, and we got to change the plays, and we got to go get free agents, and you know what I mean. So I just hope, man, next week they can pull it together. Where do they play next week? Is it on the road or is it home?
I'm not sure. Good question.
Yeah, I only had it. I didn't even look, but you got CB coming in. Oh man, JB, what's up, brother? John Barnett, homeboy, what's good? Yeah, so yeah, I just hope next week. Hope next week is a little better performance from the home team. Any interesting takes from the week in sports?
I don't know. I'm ready for you guys to drop. I'm it's a few things that went on this week.
What you got?
I think you hit it. You hit us up with some real good topics there.
We're gonna say that we're gonna say that one.
What's up, man?
That's gonna be a little meaty. Yeah, the main topic gonna be a little meaty, so we're gonna hold on that.
Oh shit!
For a minute.
Look, longer CB and then here. I'm just going for the ride and shit. Oh my
CB,
God.
what's up, bro?
What's up,
man,
Charles?
how you doing? Hey, how's everybody, man?
What's up, Brooks? All right.
Yeah, man.
I'm still a little groggy, man. I'm just getting up like a little while ago, man. I had a long day. I had to take an old man nap.
I hear you, man.
Yeah, you ain't the only one. I just woke up around 8.
No, man. Word.
Yeah,
So what's going on?
Yeah, we was talking a little bit about the Ravens game last night, and
oh my,
any happenings in sports this week that you had, other than the main thing we're gonna talk about.
What's the main thing you're gonna talk about?
Oh, Scotty Pippen.
Oh my,
Scotty.
Yeah, that Ravens game yesterday, man. I just I've never seen a game like that by them. I was really surprised with the Miami defense, especially how they was able to collapse on Lamar. And the funny thing is that when I watched them play, I had to look up their record. Like 2-7. They don't play like a 2-7 team. They play very motivated, inspired ball yesterday.
Yeah. What's up, Keon?
Yeah, they did, man. I thought it was their defense looked great, man. I gotta give it to them, man. They was flying to the ball.
They were.
Yeah, they had them extra DBs on there chasing Lamar around.
Yeah, and that was smart, man. I thought that was a great idea.
Yeah.
I heard on the sports shows today that there was some defensive scheme that the Ravens were not accustomed to, and even John Harbaugh, he said that it wasn't the players, it was the coaches. We didn't have the right game plan.
Yeah. Well, and then they've been kind of hyping it up. Not hyping it up, but they've been mentioning, Lamar is from that area. Lamar, Hollywood, a couple guys are from that area. It was a big deal for them to be going back home to play, And so I'm sure the Miami guys heard some of that. Sometimes you need any motivation you can get to get you going, especially when you're 2-6.
Right.
Well, yeah, they were 2-7, right? At the time. Prior to that game, 2-6, 2-7. So, coming into that game, you need any kind of motivation you can get to get you going. But if you remember that San Diego, I think the playoff game, they put a lot of DBs in that backfield against Lamar, and that's back when he was only running. When he was just really running the ball. That first playoff game he had. So It is what it is, man. You know, he's a professional. You know what I'm saying? He's a former MVP in this league, so he can see what he can look out there and see what's going on. Just gotta make them adjustments, and like I said, the coaching got to be a little better. The play got to be a little better,
right?
From the guys, and like I know it rained. I know it rained a lot in Miami yesterday. The field did look a little slippery, but ain't no excuses.
Hey, Miami played on the same field.
No, I mean ain't no excuse.
Yeah.
But I mean, for a guy that's shifty and like to run like that, you know what I'm saying? He need the field to be a little bit damn near perfect for him to do some of the stuff he do.
Flipping and sliding, Lamar.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's what it is. It ain't no big deal. I mean, that's an L. They still 6-3, still first place. So,
what kind of defense was Miami using? What were they doing with their DBs?
Well, the DBs added speed. So like the Ravens they running a lot to the outside.
Right.
They had nothing going out there.
I think they pulled out their linebackers and put DBs in.
Yeah, they just switched out linebackers for DB.
Huh.
And just had more speed on the field.
Wow.
But that's not the first time the Ravens have seen that.
No.
It's not like a new concept, and now everybody gonna start doing it.
Nah. But Miami is really athletic, though. You could tell they got some athletes on that defense, though.
Yeah, man. So
let me ask you a question. So what's the we've seen pretty much like the pro in terms of the speed of the DBs instead of the linebackers. What's the con?
Well, the con is DBs don't usually like to tackle.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So if you get the right people running at them, you can nix that.
Got you.
Usually once you get to that second level. But DBs, if they coming downhill on you, and they can get you before you get uphill,
right?
It kind of even it out.
It's a speed versus power thing.
Yeah.
If the Ravens could run that football,
yes,
they would have to go back to them linebackers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. That would have changed everything.
Run that ball.
Coach Ducky, what's up?
Yeah.
Coach Ducky in here.
So their inability to run the ball made it more so for Miami to use that defense with the DBs
consistently,
the linebackers, right?
Yeah.
So I had the Ravens run the ball, show that they was able to run the ball more consistently than Miami would be forced. Okay, we got to bring back the linebackers. We got to bring them back in because we need to stop the run.
Absolutely.
Well, you know what? Another thing that aided to that is that Miami also put the Ravens in a lot of third and long, second and long, third and long. Therefore,
you forced the pass.
You forced the pass.
The pass.
And so them DBs, them extra two DBs in there, then they had fast linebackers at that. You were falling right into their chess game, So when you're stopping them on first down, next thing you know, it's 2nd and 9.
Right.
Then it's 3rd and 8.
Right.
And they were getting penalties. And a lot of times Lamar was 3rd and 15 because he's getting sacked. Oh man, you're falling right into their hand at that point.
Now, like I say, last night's game, I was a little under the weather. So I was watching, but I wasn't really focused.
Yeah.
But in other games, when I would see like when they struggling a little bit, the way that they get going is they pick the pace up. They start going no huddle. Start picking it up a little bit, and then you really wearing the defense down when you don't allow them to make changes.
They weren't doing that.
Nah. But that's probably because they couldn't get nothing going.
Yeah, I think homeboy from the receiver we got from Kansas City,
Watkins.
Watkins. Yeah, Sammy Watkins.
Yeah, man.
The boy got stripped, right? Didn't he get stripped?
He got stripped.
Yeah.
And then the other play where it looked like it was a beautiful pass Lamar threw in that end zone. I don't know if it in the lights or what, but but he didn't even go for that ball. It looked like a beautifully thrown ball. That should have been a touchdown.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and that's part of it too. Them guys gotta make plays for him. On nights like that when it's not going well. You just need guys that's gonna go out and make you some plays, man. I like the young guy. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Bateman. Bateman is gonna be a baller.
He is legit.
If he, keep at the pace, because it looked like every time he turned around, he catching the first down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He making a play of some significance.
Yeah. He make
So
tough.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And that, I think, man, you talked about it, Dean, texting, man. I mean, keep on. He could be the best wide receiver they ever drafted.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and they've drafted a lot of wide receivers that
early.
And I can't even remember half of them guys.
Right.
You think about Mark Clayton or somebody.
Mark Clayton. Right. Travis Taylor.
Travis Taylor. God damn.
Jermaine Lewis.
Yeah.
He's more punt return and kick.
I like Jay Lou though. I liked him better as a returner.
He was fast.
He was electric.
Yeah.
Jay Lou was electric.
He got one in the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, he sure did.
Yeah. Right after they got one. Right after the Giants got their only one, he ran one back.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jay Lou. University of Maryland guy.
Right down there in PG County. That's where he's from, right?
Yeah.
PG County.
You got Terry Caldwell, my classmate. Jared Phelps, my classmate. Coach Troy. What's up, fellas? Thank y'all for tuning in.
I tell you, Coach, I was a little surprised. Maryland Terps was on yesterday too. I was a little surprised that big boy transferred from Georgetown.
Yeah. I'm in a Georgetown group.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Hey, come on. They're not happy. Them folks not happy about this. Then he leaves Georgetown, he goes right up the street to Maryland, and then he went number 33.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
wow.
He's really sticking it to him now.
that dude can play too. He can play. He's a player.
Yeah. So I don't know what the reasoning for what his transfer was. Like I heard he had a brother that was involved. I mean, he was getting playing time, so it couldn't have been the lack of playing time. I don't think he was starting, but he was getting significant minutes. And so I don't know what the reason why he left was, but he's gone now. He's at Maryland, so adios.
Yeah, so they beat George Washington, man. It was interesting, man, that GW, they got the boy Bishop from
James Bishop from Mount St. Joe.
Yeah, Mount St. He had a real good game.
That little dude, tough.
He tough.
He was tough. He was tough at Mount St. Joe. Like I seen him for the first time, like as a sophomore.
Yeah, I kept saying, tough. Man, I didn't play, and then everybody talking about Sticks, and everybody talking about Morcell.
Yeah.
I kept, who is that guy right there?
Yeah, Shorty was tough, man.
So he transferred from LSU.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was one of them deals they said where he went there and the coach that got him there left. So he kind of, man, out. The politics got him down there. But it looked like he found a good situation at G-Dub.
Yeah.
So he'll be all right. But he's tough. He's a hell of a ball player.
He looked good too.
Yeah, he's a hell of a ball player. I got to watch my guy T Nolan the other night too.
Okay. They
over there at Towson.
Oh, did you go there?
No, I was on TV.
Okay.
They was playing up in New York, up in Albany.
Okay.
Who they was playing?
Albany, University of Albany.
Okay.
Yeah.
They got the W.
Yeah, they got the dub. Yeah, Terry did his thing, did some work.
Yeah.
He's talking shit to the crowd,
Yeah.
Doing what he do. Wave them by and
blowing kisses
and shit, My guy working on an interview with Terry, so that's gonna be, y'all stay tuned for that. Get Terry on. We're gonna do a little interview, man, and we I go all the way back with Terry, so we got a lot of ground to cover. Really from a 10-year-old, you know what I'm saying? So to see where he at now, man, it's a hell of a thing. He'd have been around a little bit, with his college situation. He'd have bounced around, but he always seemed to get in where he fit in. He's always one of the major players wherever he go at. So, I'm proud of him. He knows that He knows that. So yeah, college basketball jumping off.
Yeah, man. I haven't had a chance to really see too many games. Because I think it kicked off Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that. I watched Duke, Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
It was a game on before that, but I got in too late. I didn't see the first game. I watched the Duke Kentucky game.
Duke got the W, right?
Yeah, Duke got the dub.
Yeah.
And so while we talking about Duke, you know, this is Coach K's last year.
Mm-hmm.
And in college, he's gonna hand it over to John Shire. He's gonna take over next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, I did not realize he's been an assistant coach now for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It seemed like he was just playing.
Wow.
Like it seemed like he was just playing at Duke. But yeah, he's been on the staff 10 years and he's gonna take over. He already been named the successor. But just give me y'all thoughts on Coach K. You know, his effect on the game of college basketball, just basketball in general, even his work with USA Basketball and all that. Y'all got any thoughts on Coach K?
I think he's always like Coach K. As far as a Dookie, now he came during, I might be aging myself, but during the late 70s, early 80s, they had a great team at Duke with Jaminski, Banks, Gene Banks, my man over on ESPN.
Jay Billis.
Yeah, Jay Billis. And they had a very good team back then. Then they kind of lulled for a few years, and then he came in the early 80s. And he started to, one thing that struck me is that he immediately started getting players from different parts of the country. And I think Johnny Dawkins was one of his main early guys. And yeah, and then they made it to, I mean, within a few years, he made it to the championship. They lost to Louisville when they had Purvis Ellison.
Yep.
And from then on, man, he's just been, I mean, he's consistent. Krzyzewskiville, that crowd at Duke, they were always loud, but he's taking that program to a whole new level, man. I gotta give him his props, man. I do, man. I mean, he stands up for his students. I never heard of any of his students that didn't like him, or his players. He's had some great players that go through there. Of course, and city kids, like we are. A lot of us hated Duke because a lot of teams that we liked, whether it's Michigan or, up in New York, St. John's or Georgetown, we had a lot of brothers that we're used to seeing on these teams. And but when he had guys like Grant Hill who could play with anybody, so
he was supposed to go to Georgetown too.
Yeah, so shit, I think at one point, believe it or not, I think Kobe was going to go to Duke. So
I did hear that.
I'm glad he didn't, but that is another story. But I gotta give him his props, man.
Yeah, he took over in 1980 was his first year.
Yeah.
1980, and so they got to the finals in '86. Yeah, I mean,
did he say why he was retiring?
It's time. 42 years, 42 years at Duke. Had his run with the USA Basketball.
Right.
I mean, he kind of gonna get the credit for writing that, getting that together.
USA Basketball.
They had lost a couple. I think he took over after that year. Allen Iverson and that crew went to the Olympics. Was it the Olympics they went to, or was that like one of those other games?
No, they lost in 2004. That's when they had Melo and LeBron.
And they were all young.
Odom. Yeah.
Well,
and
they were young.
Then 4 years later, he kind of got Kobe and the rest of them guys to that 2008 team, of course, is the dream team too, as they say, but
Yeah, but he was with him. So he was with him like 2008. He was with him 12 and 16, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yes, and I'm not a Duke guy at all, but I can't do nothing but respect what he did as far as keeping this program at the top of college basketball. I mean, Duke was always relevant, except for maybe one or 2 years over the last 30, 40 years, really, man. The Duke has always been in the conversation, at least top 10 worthy at some point every year, man. And recently, I think in the last maybe 10 or so years, maybe a little longer than that, when he kind of relaxed and started going after them one and done guys versus the guys that was going to be Duke guys for 4 years. The profile of Duke changed because now it's like, for people that's our age, Duke was like, we just, either you loved them or you didn't.
Right.
And Duke is like, that's the destination for the young players now. Duke, the guys are looking to go to Duke. They want to play for Coach K. They want to wear the Duke name on their chest. They want to go to play in Cameron Indoor.
Right.
So Duke became kind of like, I guess it's like the UCLA back in the day. Kind of the destination for top college players. North Carolina had that for a little while. So props to Coach K, man. I just, I don't look for them to win the championship this year, man. I'm not calling for that. And I don't need no storybook endings to his career.
Yeah.
Let's just knock him out. Go ahead, get your year done and bow out gracefully in the first round of the tournament.
I will say this. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Dean. Go ahead.
I understand he's setting his guy up pretty good next year coming. Already gotten, I think our guys coming there for next year. So the transition is going to be pretty seamless going to the new there. But I think overall, us me being a Maryland fan, Duke has always been a nemesis coming through the ACC years. And but I know he come up out of Indiana, up under Bobby Knight. So he was schooled pretty good by Knight. And I think you have to, Kenny, you mentioned UCLA. I think Coach K, man, is up there with the greatest, as far as being the greatest, one of the greatest coaches of all time in the NCAA. And I would guess that many folks have him the greatest college coach of all time.
Oh yeah. His legacy is stamped.
Yeah.
I mean, I of course I wasn't around for the John Wooden era, so he was always kind of given that title in my, while I was coming up, listening and watching the college basketball, he was kind of the guy.
Yeah.
But like I say, in the modern era, this era of basketball has definitely been Coach K. Nobody has had his sustained success anyway. Even guys like Patino was one. He was a big name for a little while. My guy down in Kentucky, Calipari. Them guys are always going to be relevant. I don't know that they'll ever reach Coach K status because they don't do it consistently enough. I don't think. Like even winning league championships. I mean, Duke was winning the ACC, the regular season and the tournament almost every year.
Yeah.
Every year. So, I think he got 5 national championships. He got he been to double-digit Final Fours. Which is nothing to sneeze at. And then like you say, man, just some of the guys that he's had, they built a brand. They turned Duke into a brand. Duke is like household.
Yeah.
Duke really is to a lot of people what Georgetown meant to a lot of us back in the day. The brand, the brand of it. So props to Coach K, man. I just 42 years that's a long time to be successful in one place.
Yeah. Hey, I tell you what, before you switch to next subject, I tell you what about Coach K though, man. And a lot of people don't give him credit, like they don't give and I kind of read a little bit about John Wooden
Mhm.
during the time when Kareem came on campus, Kareem and Bill Walton. And Wooden was a coach who allowed his players to be themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that that's one of the things he respected about Kareem and Bill Walton is that they stood up for a lot of issues. And that was one of the reasons he was so proud of Kareem, because before Kareem had even went to UCLA, Kareem was an activist in 10th and 11th grade. People don't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of different things were going on in New York City, and his father being a cop, he
Mm-hmm.
still were going to different rallies. I mean, with certain times when Martin Luther King and all them came to New York City, Kareem was right there. And he encouraged that with his players.
Yeah.
When they got to UCLA, speak up for what you believe in.
Mhm.
And Krzyzewski also did that. And especially a few years ago, when we talked about Kaepernick last week, and that's one of the things he did maybe 4 or 5 years ago. He was one of the first coaches to come out and put out these PSAs to say, look, when is this going to stop? You know,
Right. Right.
so he could have sat back in the ivory chair and not said anything.
Mhm.
But I think he's in a cut from the cloth of like a my man in San Antonio, Popovich, where they just give it to you how they see it. And I respect him for that.
Yeah, I think too, man, when you know, you're a leader of men
Yeah.
in a sport that's dominated by men of color.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have some kind of compassion.
Mm-hmm.
Now, all of them don't.
Yeah.
You know, all of them don't, but you have to, and I would say the most successful ones do. They figure out how to have that balance. And, you know, all right, it's the team, and we got team situation, and we want to do X, Y, and Z as a team. And, you know, we don't want you going off being individuals. But like you said, you gotta be able to be yourself as well. Like, we don't want robots.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want robots on these teams, and these are professionals we're talking about. You know, high school, college, well, even college now with the kids being able to go out and create financial situations for themselves. You're gonna see a little more individualism, I think, more than we used to. And we've always seen some individualism in college sports, but I think the better leaders figure out how to have that balance.
Sure.
You know, and Coach K, like you said, and it probably was a surprise to a lot of people that he was the guy that spoke out, just because of Duke. Duke always had like the squeaky clean image.
Yeah.
You know, the no nonsense. You know, Coach K was just so well respected.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people probably were surprised that he, you know, took some of the stances that he did. But I just think, man, it's when you have great leaders, you know, they seem to figure it out. You know, they seem to figure out how to have that balance. And that's a trait I think that's kind of overlooked sometimes with coaching.
Yeah.
Is the ability to lead, you know, because you're talking about grown men, and we talking about professional on a professional level, and in the college, you know, college level, you got young men that's turning in, you know, becoming men. And, you know, we got kids that coming from all kind of situations, you know, economic situations. Some of them come from broken homes, you know, getting their opportunity to go play sport.
Right.
So, you know, you got coaches, man, that's, you know, my way or the highway. And that don't work for everybody, you know, or you got some coaches that can't relate or understand, you know, what your issue may be. You know what I'm saying? Like you say, when you take it back to a couple of years ago with the you know, with everybody, the kneeling, people were kneeling, and people were taking the stance with the police brutality. You know, you would see coaches, college and pro, get on TV and say, well, you know, my guys aren't doing that. You know, to me, you're gonna use the locker room when you take that stance. You know what I'm saying? Without even hearing, you know, why these guys feel the way they do about some of these issues. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I say like guys like Coach K have figured out how to manage, you know, the business of it and the fact that we're dealing with people. These are not robots we're dealing with. These are people. You know, these are men who have legitimate feelings about some of these issues, man. And so it's key, in my opinion, to be able to hear all sides and have an understanding of everybody in that locker room. And Coach K, like I say, 42 years worth, you know, work with the USA basketball team with professional guys that made much more money than he made. And he was able to get the respect of those guys and to pull them together and get the best out of them every year that he had them. So props to Coach K for you know, just even being a stand-up guy in that way. Yeah.
Yeah, one hell of a career. Congratulations, Coach K. I hope y'all don't win that shit this year, but
I know.
congrats, man, on
Kiss my ass, Coach K.
Yeah. You know, all the times you done beat the hell out of the Terps.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Dolphins.
Ain't no love affair, Coach K.
What's the shooting boy that just retired? I think he just retired from the NBA.
Oh, JJ.
Yeah, JJ Redick.
Snot nose Redick.
Right. I mean, he done had a host of players.
Tell you what, Redick made some money though, man.
Jay Billis doing his thing, like Brooks mentioned. He doing his thing.
Yeah.
Really good.
Hey, the Billis get a facelift.
I don't know.
For a side note.
Why you say that?
I don't know. I looked at him the other day, and I said, "Oh man, I'm like, they get a makeover or something." Jay Billis look different. Look at him, man.
He getting a nice bag though, so he might. You know, he might.
Didn't look like his eyes got bluer and shit. I don't know what the. They got that ESPN money or something.
He getting that bag, and he kind of the number one guy in college basketball now.
I always like Jay Billis though, man.
Yeah, I always like his analysis.
Yeah,
I like his analysis. He don't lean heavy Duke when he calls Duke games. He not like Dick Vitale. He not Duke this, Duke that. He kind of fair with it.
Shout out to Dickie V too. I hope he get better, man.
What's going on with Dickie V?
He had what is that? Myeloma.
Okay.
But, he doing good though. Say he doing a lot better. So
get well, Dickie V.
He's supposed to be back a couple weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of Dickie V, you know, an impact. He had a hell of an impact on the reason why I like college basketball so much, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in them 80s, man, you know, Dickie V with his enthusiasm, you know, calling them games, man, and you know, yelling and screaming, and you know, just being he was a character.
Yeah.
You know, he was a character, man, and he was perfect. He was perfect for, you know, ESPN was just coming up at that time, and he was perfect, man.
Mm-hmm.
He sold that shit. I mean, Big Monday. It wasn't Big Monday without Dickie V, man.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, he's
Dickie V.
one of the great characters in the, you know, for college basketball. He had a lot, brought a lot to the table.
Yeah, for sure. Dickie V, Dookie V.
Yeah. Yeah.
For a long time, I didn't even realize he got a glass eye.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Duke Vitale. Yeah, he seemed like soon Krzyzewski won it. Well,
Tonio Herbert said he was the Marv Albert of college basketball.
I can go with that.
Yeah.
I can go with that. Tonio, what's up, bro? Yeah, I can go with that.
Appreciate the comment, Tonio.
I can go with
no
that.
doubt.
So, all right. So I brought up, you know, the fact Dickie V was big, and you know, just me falling into the college basketball, the love affair I had with college basketball. He was a big part of it. So in sports in general, kind of what was it that drove y'all guys, man, like the love of sport as a as a young guy, what was it that kind of sucked you into loving sports like that? So we start with CB.
Go to Chiefs, man. Let me think about this, man.
You got to pontificate.
Yeah, I got to pontificate on this for a second, man.
Oh man, it was. I mean, you get into whatever level you on, you get into a certain arena, and you have that mindset. Even as a kid, it's competition. You get more friends. I mean, as I grew up, people knew, hey man, Cheese plays sports. More people as a kid liked you.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do much of anything else. I wasn't, somebody who would talk about cartoons and shit. I didn't do that. I mean, my mother bought me Sports Illustrated and, all that kind of shit. So cars, I wasn't a normal kid that I would wake up and, man, watch car. I mean, I'm ready for the baseball bunch and this week in baseball to come on.
Yeah.
But it's a competition. Then as you get older, camaraderie, the feeling of winning. I hate it. Most people hate to lose. Then as you get older, it evolves to like we doing now, talking, brothers getting together, talking sports. I think sports is one of those things. And this is why I've always thought that sports was a great equalizer in a way that you can go to Raven Stadium and you can go to anywhere. You go to Madison Square Garden. Half of them people were probably Trump supporters. They probably was on Facebook beefing this whole year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Soon as they step into that stadium, they hugging and high-fiving and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's talking about anything. But oh man, Lamar looks great. That's what sports has always done through wars, politics. It's always been there.
Yeah, I know. I know my father was really, really athletic, and he loved sports and was always on the television. My earliest years, man. The Orioles had some real good teams back in the day, and the Colts were formidable, and the Baltimore Bullets were formidable. And my father actually took me to see the Bullets. I've been to, went to several Baltimore Bullet games, the illustrious Baltimore Civic Center, and and Baltimore had Johnny Unitas and some of these big time athletes that come through. So Earl the Pearl was like my first idol, sports idol. Seeing Earl Monroe and just seeing that on television all the time and being over my father's shoulder watching all of that. And athletics is like part of the DNA, man, of especially Black America trying to get up out of the ghetto, trying to make it. That was one of the things that one the take to get out, make some money. America has always been comfortable with us on the field, out the field, and always been comfortable with us in court or on the court.
So,
that was one of our ways to get out. And then when you participate, when you look at it on TV, you see the fact. One of the first things I wanted to be a football player, be a running back. That was my thing, running back. And I got a little taste of it, played football, and I was a running back, and I was getting the shit as a running. So I found out pretty early though that I didn't have the physical attribute to go anywhere. But sports is huge, man, and it's getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I remember I'm thinking about it. I came into sports when I was in the fourth grade, and I think that I was late coming into sports. I remember there were some dudes that were in my fourth grade class, and started to play basketball, and then just started like talking sports, and then watching it on TV. Actually, baseball was my first sport of interest. Watching the Oakland A's. I remember wanting to getting out of school and getting home in time to watch the catch like the afternoon game. So I remember those days. And the thing with sports for me, and even now, it's like I play like a little bit of basketball, a little bit of football, like in the street, and for me, I was like a chubby dude, So for me, I had to work extra hard. So like there were other dudes. Of course, you have cats like that's talented and the game comes easy. And then for others, they got to work at it.
That's right.
And so for me, I always had an affinity for those players that work hard.
Yeah.
That put in work, and then you see a trajectory of their progress or their success. And then it always goes back to what they put in the gym, the work and time that they put in the gym. Like that's always being referenced back. And so for me, it's like, so I remember I used to like go outside early, get on the court early, because everybody's gonna come out, say maybe like 10, 11 o'clock, get out there early and start pounding and get my shots in, get warmed up, practice certain drills, certain moves in the post, and then when everybody come outside and you try to emulate what you did in practicing by yourself, doing it on a 2-on-2 or 3-on-3 or full court game, man. But it's just for me. My biggest thing from sports has always been the work that you put in. The work that you put in is what you're gonna get out. I remember when I had when I was briefly assistant coaching a basketball team, and I remember telling the guys that don't wait until you come to practice to play basketball. Because that's not going to work. Don't wait until I put you through drills or have you do some push-ups. This should not be the only place that you're doing push-ups and sit-ups. You need to be doing this at home. You need to be doing work in the morning when you're getting up. You need to be watching it. So just talking.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's not just. So you're just letting them know that it's not just something that you're just coming in and you're just going to play and that's going to go. Like if this is what you want to do, there's work that you have to put in. There's a certain amount of prep that you have to put in. And the thing is, and you know this, Coach, when you're able to instill that sense of discipline within the sport, the goal is that sense of discipline will transcend that sport, whether to the classroom.
Yes.
Whether into their place of employment, whether into whatever type of relationship, but that discipline and everything that comes with it, there's a how would you say, like it will go past just the sport into other areas of life, and I think that's what in general that's what sports is.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed, man.
It started pretty much early for me. I don't probably when I came out, I probably came out the womb trying to swing a baseball bat. like I don't come from a family of athletes or sports lovers, so I'm wondering sometime am I adopted or something, where y'all find me at? Yeah, but I've always, since I was a kid, been attracted to, the competition of it, whether it was track and field, whether it was the superstars. Remember the superstars used to come on TV back in the day?
I remember that.
The battle of the network stars when you had the non-athletic motherfuckers,
Yeah.
Goddamn Richie Cunningham and Laverne and Shirley and all them running relay races and all that crap. I used to love that stuff, man.
That's going back to the Evil Knievel days.
Yeah, Evil Knievel. That was big shit on a Saturday, man. On the Wild World of Sports.
Yes, it was.
The Wild World of Sports. You know what I'm saying? The
thrill
of victory, the agony of defeat.
Right, Dean.
Come on, man.
And you always look forward to watching the dude on the skis.
On the skis.
Agony
every week, man.
Unbelievable.
But just like Cheese though, man, I could not wait for This Week in Baseball to come on. I can hear that. This is Mel Allen, the little music in the beginning, and he giving you the rundown of what's coming. And man, that was it for me. Yeah. I still go back and watch them on YouTube.
I absolutely do. I do it all the time
on YouTube, man. It's just nostalgic for me, like the baseball bunch with Johnny Bench, and the crazy part, like I think I mentioned this last week. Growing up, baseball was big on the radio. But you didn't get many games on TV. So in the summertime, man, you could walk up and down our street, and I'm talking 5 to 10 people are subject to have that game on, sitting on the porch listening. So you could run up to somebody, pull, what's the score?
I know my grandmother did every night.
Yeah. And so, just doing that, man, just the group of friends that we grew up with, it was always something. If it was baseball, basketball, football, running races in the street, you know what I'm saying? Running from pole to pole. It was always some kind of competition, something competitive. Gym class was the most, it really shouldn't even have been another class to have in school. Gym class was it for me, man.
Yeah.
They could have kept the rest of that stuff. I could have did gym all day, gym and lunch.
Right.
Gym, lunch, and recess in elementary school, and the rest of that stuff they could have kept it.
Right.
But that's what it was for me, man. Just like you say, the competition. I've always been attracted to just even watching games on TV, just the crowd, the reactions. When something exciting moments happen. Like I remember watching the Dodgers and the Yankees in the World Series 2 years back to back. Those were kind of my first memories of watching the World Series. Those 2 years back to back with the Dodgers and Yankees, 77, 78.
Right.
I remember watching, Reggie hit the 3 home runs. Like I remember that shit like it was yesterday. Classic, classic. And Reggie, and then the showmanship.
Yeah.
Reggie was a motherfucker, man.
Yeah.
He hit that motherfucker and stand there and look at that shit.
Yeah.
Did you know he was mistaken for Son of Sam in Spike Lee's movie?
Oh, yeah.
Say it again.
Son of Sam. You ever seen that Spike Lee movie?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the one Italian kid says they were shooting it. People were getting shot with a 44. This stupid motherfucker say, yeah, I think it's Reggie Jackson. Yeah. Why Spike Lee put that in the movie, man?
Yeah, I
digress.
Ben Collins said pick up baseball games up top for sure.
Right.
We definitely played baseball games up on our end for sure.
What's up, Bank?
For sure. Yeah, but yeah, sports, man, just was like, and still for me, man, it's the ultimate my ultimate getaway. You know, people ask me what I do for fun. I watch sports. I go to games. You know, if it's a tournament going on tomorrow, kids playing, I can sit in the gym all day and watch basketball. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's relaxing to me. You know what I'm saying? I can find entertainment in it, whether it's high level basketball or youth that's you know throwing the ball all over the place. I can find enjoyment in all of that. And I tell y'all a quick little story. So like in the early 2000s, when I started, I was driving for a living. So I'm in the car, in the vans all day, I listen to sports talk most of the day. I found myself getting so wrapped up into it. You know, the professional sports. I was so wrapped up into that it was affecting me a little bit. You know, I'm getting every win and loss. I'm losing my mind. You know, this is happening, that's happening. And you know, trade this guy. I mean, I got caught up in all that. And so I was riding one evening. I was over in East Baltimore and I was up by Morgan State. I know that's where the Northwood Baseball League plays at. So I had my little cousins was playing up there at the time. So I didn't know who was playing. I just saw that there was some games going on. So I said, let me park. I parked and walked over there to the field when I was watching the game. And the fact, I sat there and watched these kids play baseball and they was having fun. You know what I'm saying? Some of them was real good. Some of them wasn't, but they was having fun, man. And it took me back to why I love sports in the first place. You know what I'm saying? And so it was that day that kind of reeled me back in like, yo, listen, don't get caught up in what these guys is making millions of dollars that could care less whether you like them or not. You know what I'm saying? You know how we love our teams. These guys are here to make money, but if another team gonna offer them more money, they're gonna take it. You know, so don't fall in love with the player. You know, fall in love with, if you love your team, but don't fall in love with players because players come and go. So that day right there kind of reeled me back in to why I fell in love with sports to begin with. It was love, you know. And another thing for me, I was always intrigued by the leaders. So coaches, managers in baseball, always intrigued me. You know, whether it was Chuck Noll, you know, with the Steelers or Tom Landry, Don Shula, them kind of guys in football, you know, Bear Bryant back in the day.
Earl Weaver.
Yeah, for sure, Earl. You know,
Earl
look, wait a minute. For sure, Earl.
For Earl.
Yeah, for sure, Earl, man. And Billy Martin.
Yeah.
You know, but them kind of guys, man, you know, of course, Big John, you know, Lefty Driesell. Like these guys, man, had an impact on me that probably made me want to coach as well. You know, because like I say, they was characters. You know, Boeheim and, you know, Connor Secker and all them guys in the Big East. You know, and then you had like the Dean Smith, the gentleman.
Colorful guys. Guys, colorful, boy.
Robert Montgomery Knight, the general. Over there in Indiana, man. So yeah, this sport, man, this from top to bottom just had a hell of an impact on me. And you know, it's got me here at the sports mix. You know, it's probably connected us all in some kind of way. You know, I know me and Brooks connected on talking sports, you know, dealing with some of them kids we was dealing with. We needed the outlet. You know, so we start talking about some hoop and
that's right.
You know, yeah, that was definitely an outlet in those days. You know, for sure, me and Dean, we didn't have sports shows on the goddamn telephone and shit.
Absolutely.
You know, so and then Cheese, man, me and Cheese been played sports together since we was, you know, elementary school age. So yeah, sports is definitely a common denominator, you know, connected us all in some kind of way. It's even
Indeed.
you know, branched out into, you know, Cheese, what you do with your podcast. You know, you and Brooks connected, and you know, Brooks is definitely must see TV when he come on your show.
Brooks and Dean, the man. They ain't no joke.
Yeah, you gotta get Dean on yours.
Oh man.
You gotta get Dean come on one
Yep.
of yours.
Especially
you know,
now I know
chopping it up.
Dean love BO.
Look. Brooks done got tight.
Hey, before you go to the next subject, you know, I noticed Brooks changed the camera angle to allow Malcolm to come in a little bit more. Hey, CB, you know I love you, man. I had to put that in there real quick.
Well,
no BO.
No BO.
No BO night,
No
right?
BO. All right, my bad. Point taken, bro. Point taken.
So let's get right into it, fellas. You know, the elephant in the room. Been big news all week. Scottie Pippen is selling a book. Got his memoirs coming out.
It already came out. I think it came out last Tuesday.
Yeah. So you know, he's selling it now. He's trying to sell it. So you know, see these quotes coming out. You know, he was as good as Mike Jordan, and Jordan wouldn't have been this without him. There's some context to that because I did watch some of the interview he did with Strahan. So when he did say that Jordan wouldn't have won without him, he said he wouldn't have won without Mike as well. You know, he did clear that up, which was always been my point. They just worked so well together. You know, they was like hand in glove when you talking about dynamic duos on the basketball court. You know, probably the best in my lifetime. You know, I mean, it's an argument to be had. You know, you got the Kobe and Shaq guys, or you got the Magic and Kareem, or Magic and Worthy. You know, there's an argument to be made, but for me, it was Mike and Pippen. But so let's dig into this Scottie Pippen. So to me, you know, I feel like Scottie feel like he not getting the credit or the respect that he's due. And he took it back to the Last Dance. He felt like he didn't get a lot of love in that. He felt like, you know, it was focused more on Michael and, you know, less on the team. Well, Mike, if I'm not mistaken, Mike produced the damn thing. So he gonna have a little say in what the storyline is.
Maybe just a little bit.
You know, he gonna have some say in what the storyline is. So, you know, I mean, Scotty is a man of means. He could make his own version of the Last Dance and tell the Scottie Pippen story if that's what he wants to do. But just let me get some of y'all takes on you know, some of the stuff Scotty been saying these last couple of weeks. Really, the last couple. Even when he was throwing the shot saying that LeBron was a better player than Mike. You know, I think he's been taking little jabs at Mike really the last couple of years. So just what's some of y'all thoughts on this whole Scottie Pippen, Mike Jordan situation?
Well, you know, I think I like Scotty. I've always liked Scotty, and I still have the Slam magazine when he was on the cover because before he got injured, he was on a tear. So I've always appreciated Scotty's game. But you know, I think that, or at least I hope that in the future time, he's gonna look back at this and he's gonna say, "Oh man, I fucked up." I haven't read the book. I've read like excerpts. I've seen like a couple of interviews, and it's like he's on a rant. Like this is a so-called rant of something that he's been harboring for a few years. and it seems as if the Last Dance was the trigger, or the what's that expression, the straw that broke the camel's back, you know,
or the last straw,
or the last straw. right. And the thing is that, and it's so, of course, it's so very public, you know. And the thing is that, and I was talking to my son about this, and I said, you know, it's like Scotty is going what I'm calling a so-called rant, you know, and he's like whatever he's like, his feelings or whatever about Mike. And to me, I think at some point he's gonna like continue with this, like this tell-all, and at some point, like, people are not gonna be looking at Mike. People are gonna be looking at Scotty. He's talking about Mike, but nobody's opinion of Mike is going to change. There's no view of Mike that's going to change. But people may change their view of Scotty after hearing it, you know, what he has to say, because then it gets to the point, well, Scotty, I mean, you know, why are you doing all of this? You know, and basically, you know, whether he feels hurt, pain, you know, he doesn't like the reference of Robin, so there may be like an ego thing there, you know. So he's clearly, you know, in his feelings, and the thing is that it's one thing to be in your feelings, it's quite another to be very public about it. Right. And you know, you're going on the talk show circuit, and you're going to travel around the country, and you're going to say all it repeatedly for days about another person. It's not to say that it's not true, but to some extent, it's going to be like, Scotty, maybe you need to go talk to somebody like behind closed doors instead of talking to America, you know? Because then because what I'm saying is that it becomes more about him,
right,
than about, like, he's thinking that he's informing the world about Mike and what happened behind closed doors and like that. And the way he's going about it, you know, that he's in his feeling about it. And, you know, there could be this expression of bitterness. And and that's what I'm saying, that I think that is what is going to come through at the end. And then at some point, you hope that somebody, you know, pull on the sleeve and said, Scotty, you really shouldn't have done that. You need to sit down. So, and I'll say one last thing. I read an interview that he had, and it was like in the first paragraph, and I just had to laugh, because the question was around the flu game. And so he told the guy, what hurts more, a bad back or the flu? Bad back, of course. Yeah, nobody talks about my bad back, but everybody talks about this guy's flu game.
Yeah, because he had 45.
Damn, Scotty, damn, man.
Because he had 45.
Exactly. And Scotty only had 8 points that night, I think.
Yeah.
But Scotty wants love because he had a bad back. Like, Scotty, you ain't gonna get that love, man.
Nah.
You score 45 with a bad back, maybe. And then he came to say that he wasn't going to, had there been a game 7, he wouldn't have been able to play. I mean, Scotty, you got the migraine. Scotty, you know, this is it becomes more about your character. And I guess what I'm also saying is that what we don't want to have to happen is that with these, I don't know, these assertions of your character now, that it doesn't exceed your legacy, because you have a solid basketball legacy.
Right.
But with all of this bitterness now, you know, we want to hope that it doesn't exceed that your legacy to the extent where everybody's talking about Mike instead of talking about you and what you did on the court.
Yep. What you got? What you got, Charles? I mean, sorry, Cheese. Charles.
I'm kind of. I see a lot of the comments about Scotty and what he's going through, what he's talking about is the book, and I think me and CB talked about this last year, and I thought about this pretty good. The ability to step in someone else's shoes, and this was what I did with Scottie Pippen, because I knew we were going to talk about this tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm Scottie Pippen.
Okay.
I'm a 6-time world champion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of the best all-around defensive players that ever played this game.
Mm-hmm.
He's in my top 15 all-around players that ever play in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, that's without question.
Mm-hmm.
His defensive prowess, in my opinion, I thought he was a better defender than Michael Jordan.
I believe so too. He was longer.
Yeah. I guarded 4 different positions.
Mm-hmm.
We were one shot away from going to the Eastern Conference Finals when Jordan wasn't there.
Yep.
I also got tougher during the same time Jordan got tougher. Without Jordan, there's no me. Without me, Jordan might not have won 6 rings. 30 years removed, here comes the last dance.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in this last dance, I said, oh man, you know what? I see what's coming. I kind of know in the back of my mind, this is going to be a Jordan kind of thing. But I'm hoping that he realizes that he didn't win these championships alone. I didn't get that. All I'm hearing through all these years was Jordan and the Bulls, Jordan and the Bulls, Jordan and the Bulls.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also a 2-time Olympic champion. I've done everything that I could to make the Bulls be champions, and I was successful. When it was coming time to my contract situation, the best player on the planet didn't speak up for me.
That's right.
I'm harboring all this for the last 25 years. I write this book to say how I felt the same way Jordan was the catalyst behind The Last Dance. So if you disagree with me or not, the fact still remains, I am a champion. So all is to say, fellas, I think he got to a point where, and I can't speak for Scotty, but that's with anything in life. You get to a point where you feel like, you know what? Even though I'm a 6-time champion, I'm noted as one of the best ever, I still don't think I'm getting the respect I deserve. This is in his mind, you know. So, and that, as CB says, sports transcends a lot of things. You go into business, you come in with an idea, you come in, you know you're a big part of the team, but yet this one guy is getting all the glory. 25, 30 years removed, we still talking about, we all know how great MJ is. But I'm Scottie Pippen. I'm no joke.
That's right.
Now, this is what I'm feeling he's going through. Not to say I'm any kind of mind reader, but if I had to unpack all this, and this is why I sat back and I'm like, you know what? Scotty is in this point, he's in mid-50s. He's feeling a certain way. I ain't mad at him. Because at this point, he's saying, you know what? I should have came for mine years ago, but I'm coming for mine now. So I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying this is maybe where Scotty is coming from. And he was a bad boy.
Yeah.
Bad boy.
You got Dean. You muted.
Yeah. I'm not mad at Scotty. I think The Last Dance, as we all saw, pissed off a lot of people. I mean, it's pretty amazing that, you know what, The Last Dance was how many years? The last championship, and reacted to it, and you know, even how Mike is still mad at people and calling Isaiah a bitch and so forth and so on. It's pretty amazing, you know, how that thing jumped off. It was about Mike. And I mean, how not be about Mike?
Mm-hmm.
He's the greatest player
Mm-hmm.
in eyes, in many people's eyes, to play the game. So it be about him. I don't know what the storyline was. Scotty made it seem like he was under the impression it was going to be more about the team, but obviously it came out more about Mike. He also said that he thought that Mike was trying to let the world know how tougher he was than LeBron. It was all this little talk about LeBron rising up, and Mike saying, "Look, let's put this thing out, put all that talk to rest." Pippen was a tremendous ball player, man. I mean, that guy was a tremendous ball player, and I think what Kenny said about them being the greatest 1-2 combination ever, I would agree with that, and I agree with Jordan is a number one, and I think under those circumstances, Scotty was the number 2, and I think he accepted that. Where when you had Shaq and Kobe, both of them number ones, and both of them was battling for number 1. Same thing with Magic and Kareem. They number 1 players. I think that Scotty was a natural number 2 under that Chicago Bulls team, and man, it was a magnificent basketball. This guy was a top 50 player. He was a top 75 player on that list. I think respected throughout. I agree. He was a little better defensively than Jordan, and Jordan was a all defensive
hell of a defender.
Times. So Pippen was long and strong. And I've always said that the game that he played where his back was hurt was one of the greatest, grittiest
my goodness
performances that I've ever seen
ever
play.
Yes.
And that was game 6.
Right.
And he talking about game 7. I know he wasn't playing game 7.
Nope.
I didn't game
He couldn't
6.
even stand up, Harley. Yeah, man.
And I saw him a charge, man, with his hurt and stuff like that. That was one of the, you know, they talk about Isaiah with his broken ankle or twisted ankle.
Remember that.
Yes.
And all these other games where people are injured. But that game when Scotty hurt his back, it made the difference in them winning that championship. They don't win that championship, I don't think, if he doesn't play game 7. No. That was a big deal. You know, but one thing I think about this whole thing, there's a financial component to this thing here. Scotty making some money here.
Sure.
Scotty book that's going to be a bestseller. And in order for that book to be a bestseller, Mike is going to bring it. That's what people want to know. What's up with Mike? We want to hear what you got to say about Michael Jordan. And so he's going through he's making his rounds, and he's going to, I mean, Ralph Abernathy, when he wrote his book, what did he do?
Yeah. Went after Martin.
He went after Martin. So when you're trying to make some money, Mike is the money maker. So he's tossed Mike's name out there, and he's saying this about Mike. He's saying this about Mike, that about Mike. I think that, you know, the financial component is big. I think I've heard somewhere in the past where Scotty was having some little financial issues. So I think he's actually capitalizing off of The Last Dance and making some money here.
Good point.
I'm not mad at him at all.
Me either.
Go and watch him play. But Scottie Pippen, bruh, man, that dude was straight fire, man. Scotty was a beast, man. I don't look at it, you know, and I always say that he's a natural number 2, especially under those circumstances. But I watched he went to Portland after the fact, played at Portland, and Portland had that monster team. They had a chance to knock the Lakers off. And you know, when Kobe threw the alley-oop, the Shaq kind of stuff, I mean, they were up by like 15 in the fourth.
They sure was.
And
they sure was.
I was on that team, and he didn't take charge, man. He didn't over. He should have got that ball. He should have got to the free throw line. He should have did some things to stop that run, and he didn't do it. So under those circumstances, that's why I got him as the number 2 guy. And he played that role magnificently with the Bulls. The greatest stuff I've ever seen is those Bulls.
Yeah.
Yep. In that Portland game, if Portland make 1 or 2 baskets, that's a different game.
A different game. Yes.
I'm talking 1
goodness.
or 2 baskets, man.
I think they would, if they would have got
past
past the Lakers, they would have won a championship.
They
Then,
would've won
yeah, I honestly
loaded.
believe it.
for sure.
They
Oh
were
my
loaded.
goodness.
They were loaded.
And he played that even as an older player at that point. He played great. He was a fantastic.
But they ran up against, that's the year the Lakers beat Indiana, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think Portland definitely
That'd have been a tough
Indiana.
series too, man.
It's been a good series because I mean Shaq, the Shaq was just the X factor. It's the ultimate mismatch. It's nothing you're gonna do with that, especially in them years. It's nothing you was gonna do with Shaq. Nothing.
Yeah,
I don't care what you put on.
Portland
You
had
could have
some
put a track
goons
trail
just like
out there.
Indiana, though. They had some
Yeah.
dogs like Indiana, man.
Yeah, you could have put a track trail out there against Shaq. And
Bonus
he'd
on that
gave him
Portland.
30.
Yep,
Right.
it's a bonus. Yeah,
Bonus was on there. He's 7'2", 7'3".
Rasheed Wilder.
Key Wireless on that. Brian Gray.
Mm.
Oh my goodness.
They were loaded.
Yeah, they was loaded.
Imagine them clashing against the Pacers with the Davis boys and all. Oh my goodness.
Mm.
But now we talk about this Portland team, and they was loaded. Would they be considered a super team today?
No, because they didn't really have no overwhelming superstar.
But they had a lot of motherfuckers that
They had a lot of guys that could play, but they ain't have no player that was gonna go out and score 30. They really didn't.
Mm.
They had a lot of guys that get you 20.
Yeah, there are a lot of names out there.
They didn't have a bona fide,
But
you know.
so let me go back. So with this whole Jordan and Pippen, Scotty, like you say, man, Scotty, he's selling books, and he got an opportunity to make some money off of this. I think he's gonna make some nice coin off of it. The book is gonna do very well.
I hope so.
He's gonna get a chance to tell his side of the story.
Yeah.
On multiple talk shows and all the opportunities he's gonna get to talk. But it got to go back to the Jordan factor. And like I think I mentioned this last week, Mike Jordan came along around the time when I really started getting into basketball. And so I kind of grew in the game with him. I remember him at North Carolina. Of course, he wasn't the player he became in the NBA, but he was tough at North Carolina. Like he wasn't he wasn't no slouch. He wasn't like he just he couldn't play. Then he gets to the league and just blow up. No, he could play at North Carolina. So let's not get that twisted.
Right.
But for me, and I've said this to people before, Michael Jordan probably was one of the best things and one of the worst things that happened to basketball. And I say that because it became more about the individual. Magic had that cast of guys with him. Even though he was an individual, he had a hell of a cast with him. You know what I'm saying? Larry Bird, even though he was an individual, he had a hell of a cast with him. You know what I'm saying? Who else was around at the time? Dr. J. Doc might have even been the guy prior to, Magic and Bird coming along. Doc was the guy, but he had a cast around him. He had a cast of guys to where, he could lean on those guys. Michael Jordan got so big as an entity, even outside of basketball. He was globally, by the time they went to the Olympics in '92, I mean, everybody was trying, I want to be like Mike. The commercials, man, the Jordan brand was off the ground and running. He was in the class all by himself, as far as players are concerned. And so it take a special kind of person to even be able to play under that kind of pressure. You understand what I'm saying? To even be on a team with a guy like that, where he gonna garner all the attention you know, the cameras are going to be in his face more times than not. They come in the mic for the quotes after the game. You know, pre-game, they want to know what Mike's thinking. It take a lot, you know, for guys to, and we talking about grown men. You know, we're not talking about little kids. We talking about grown men that got some strong egos, man. They had to, you know, take a step back. Now, I'm not saying they was less of men, because that get thrown around a lot too. Like Mike was just in there punking everybody. You know, he fucking everybody up in the locker room and practices and all that. I don't think that's what it was. You know, his competitive spirit, you know, he gonna cross the line somewhat. And just like most people know who to step to. You know, he'll step to Steve Kerr, but you know he wasn't gonna step to Charles Oakley with that shit. You know, Bill Cartwright got him right. You know, he stepped to him one time, and Bill Cartwright said,
"That was that.
Yeah, we're not doing that."
Mm-hmm.
But I say all that.
Listen, hey, big fella, there was even a story at North Carolina, because when he was at North Carolina, I think who was the brother had Sam Perkins.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Perkins was already there. So there was like a story when Jordan got there and when they were on the same team, and Sam Perkins was like, "Look, man, you're a freshman. You're a freshman."
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you know, Jordan, you know, he just became so big of a personality. And so, you know, media, like you say, you got to think, man, you know, we all old enough to know, we all remember the time before it was social media, before really ESPN was really huge. ESPN was kind of growing up right along with Michael Jordan. You know, so it wasn't the entity it was today. You know what I'm saying? You didn't have 24-hour sports to the level that you have it in this era.
Yep.
And so a guy like Mike to grow to the levels that he did without the machine, you know what I mean? He was the machine. You know, it was Mike, but the thing was with the media, it was like we got to find the next Mike. And you know, that became the thing in the NBA through the 90s. They were trying to figure out who's gonna be the next one. Is it Penny? Is it Grant Hill? Is it Harold Miner? You know, I mean, anybody that had a similarity or could get off the floor and dunk it a little bit, they was trying to say he was gonna be the next Mike. So, you know, you putting this unnecessary pressure on these guys that's coming into the league to fill the shoes that he said, you know, that he put on his feet, you know. And so for a guy like Scotty, man, figured it out. You know, he figured out like, yo, I can do X, Y, and Z and still get mines while I'm on the same team with this guy. You know what I'm saying? And that's not an easy thing to do when you got egos. You know, I've never coached nothing above youth basketball other than coming into this year. And kids don't want somebody else to get more shine than them. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, pass him the ball. Well, he you know, he done made a couple shots. Shit, I want to make some shots too.
Right.
You know, but he got the hot hand. You like it's so like it's just simple. You know what I'm saying? So when you playing with a personality like Michael Jordan, you know, I venture to say Scottie Pippen just was the right person at the right time, you know, to come along to be groomed. Because, you know, when he started, you know, Scotty struggled a little bit his first couple of years, trying to figure it out. Mm-hmm. He tried to figure it out, but, you know.
And he had to grow into his body because he had to grow.
Exactly. So he figured it out.
Yep.
He figured it out. But I think it was right time, right person for that situation. I just don't think anybody could have flourished the way Scotty did because Scotty was willing to sacrifice.
I agree. Yep.
Other parts of his game. Now, I don't think Scotty was the type of guy that was going. He couldn't do the things Jordan did.
Wait a minute, hold
on a consistent basis.
Wait a minute, hold on. Now, when you say not do the things Jordan did, what you talk about?
Scotty wasn't gonna go get you 40, 50 a night.
No.
If you had to.
Okay.
You know, Mike could do that waking up.
Okay.
Right.
You know, Mike was gonna do that getting out the business. Mike was gonna get you 30 every game.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? He was gonna get you your 30
Without
every
trying
game.
hard.
Without a lot of effort.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true. Yeah.
But I don't think Scotty had that type of. I don't think that was his mentality. Number one,
True. I agree with
I
that.
don't think his mentality was, I got to go out and dominate a game like that, because he
Right.
never did it. Even when the team was his, he didn't take that approach. He still was facilitating
Mm-hmm.
and getting everybody else involved. That's just who he was
Mm-hmm.
as a player,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So I just think Mike Jordan, man, just, you know, it's one of my favorite players of all time, man. It's not him per se, it's just his because he got to be so big of a personality, and we got this copycat mentality. It's like, we got to find another one of them. You know what I'm saying? Instead of enjoying that, you know what I'm saying, it was always, we got to get that, or we got to have that. So you got guys that's taking 30 and 40 shots a game, you know, to get 20, 25. You know what I'm saying? It's just, the balance was thrown off. And so now you got this, it's my team versus my team. So, you know, like the whole Shaq and Penny, you know, these two young superstars that had they stayed together, probably could have made some noise. You know,
Nope.
no, they'd have made some noise.
Nope. Not as
made
long
some
as
noise.
that 23 and 33 was in Chicago. No, they wasn't.
But you got to think that run was over in '98.
So was
Shaq-
theirs. Shaq was going to LA.
But so had he stayed, is what I'm saying.
Oh man. No.
Had he stayed, who else in the East was going to step up?
I don't know. That's a good question. I had to
They
think
was
about
it.
that.
They was the heir apparent in the East.
Yeah.
You got to think the Knicks was an older team
At that point, yes.
at that point. They were an older team at that point.
Yeah.
Indiana wasn't never,
See, that's
They
the
just
team
didn't
that I
have
think
enough.
that probably was Indiana. Yes.
but Indiana just never had enough to get over the hump.
Right.
who were
they
they playing?
they was gonna
Who were
be
they
right
playing
there.
against?
And you gotta remember,
They playing against Mike Jordan.
Yeah.
But
did knock Chicago off in the playoffs.
They sure did. Yeah. Yeah, but he was wearing 45. That don't count. That don't count. But I tell you this before, I know you, Scottie Pippen, and one of the great compliments, and I watched a ton of Bulls games, like Lakers and that. I never once saw Jordan get on Scotty in a game. Not one time. I would see Jordan like go up to one of his teammates, man, like, why you not, why you should have been. Scotty was always at the right place at the right time. He was the facilitator. He was the main ball handler. He ran the offense. He was the initial triangle person in the triangle.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Yeah.
Not unless Kerr or BJ Allen, but for the most part, Scottie Pippen handled the ball. And I think the dude is fantastic. And I hope he get $200 million off this book. I do. I do. I ain't mad at him, man.
Yeah.
I think it is a financial thing for Scotty.
Sure.
I capitalizing on it, and he knows who Jordan is, and we've all seen them talk about each other prior to the Last Dance, and we know the utmost respect that they had for one another. Did they hang out after the game? No, they two different personalities. They didn't hang out, but those guys had tremendous respect. I think Jordan is the real catalyst for Scotty growing into the player that he became, because Jordan was really that hard on him in them practices. Jordan was already established. So, and I mean, I think Cheese, Kenny told me that you had interviewed Larry Holmes. I haven't heard that interview, but I'm pretty sure that Holmes maybe spoke about being in the shadow of Ali.
Absolutely.
As Holmes was, as great as a fighter was, he was in the shadow of Ali, and Ali was going to always overshadow him. And the thing with Scotty, I mean, as great as Scotty was, he's playing with arguably the greatest basketball player ever. So Jordan is going to overshadow him, and he knows that. And he also will find out that even in his book, memoir, and all the rounds that he's going to make, he's going to find out that Jordan going to overshadow him again. Because everybody want to talk about Jordan again. Jordan, that dude, man, he's that big a dude that you can't, you almost have to accept his greatness. And even though there's a lot of ego with Jordan and he wants things his way, and I know all that's true, but he was that dude, man, and you ain't gonna get on that. I don't care anybody say about him and how the Last Dance went and all that. Jordan we talking about.
A couple
That's
shout
true,
outs. Shout out to my son Kenny watching. Kenny Rice watching.
Okay.
My girl Kelly checking in as usual.
Where Kenny Rice at?
Monroe Tyler.
I don't
my
see
cousin
Kenny.
Sheila
Money, 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 money. The money.
Yeah.
Kenny Rice.
Yeah, so you know, Scotty, man, I think he was the right person at the right time to play with that guy Mike Jordan, man. Because think about when Scotty came in the league, Mike was averaging about 35, 36 a game, man.
Mm-hmm.
He was getting a lot of shots up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so it wasn't until Phil Jackson came and said, listen, Mike, you gonna have to trust these guys, man. You're gonna have to trust that these guys are gonna do the things we need to do to win some games. You know what I'm saying? So that means you gotta take 5 less shots a game. You're gonna have to start taking 5 less shots a game, man. And you know, that's the thing too that get overlooked is, you know, because we talk about people with all this ability, you know, like say Mike Jordan, you know, LeBron, Kobe, you know, these guys that's individual guys that got a lot of ability, man. They gotta trust these guys that's on the court with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because these are guys that feel like, I can do this shit by myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can go ahead and get you 40, 50. You know what I mean? If y'all just play some defense and don't turn the ball over and, you know, hit shots when you get them, we'll win some games. You know,
man.
So like I say, the Scotty, man, just was the right guy at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
His demeanor, his willingness to take a step back, you know, and not that he had a game that was going to overshadow Mike's in any way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that, but he just had the ability. You know, he knew that he had to take some pressure off of Mike playing defense on the guy that was lighting their ass up. You know, Scotty was going to be the guy. Yeah, perfect. Scotty was going to be the guy that stepped up.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I mean, when you think about Lawrence Taylor, you know, not too many people. You can't forget about Carl Banks.
Yes,
right. Absolutely.
You can't forget about Jim Marshall. I mean, LT is going to get all the light.
Yeah.
But you know, Carl Banks, you know, when he did his work so that LT can do his.
Yeah.
But it go back to, these are team games. These are team sports we're talking about.
True.
And in the NBA, especially, the NBA become individualized a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because you have a Michael Jordan, you have a Kobe Bryant, you have a LeBron James. These people that's going to, you know, absorb a lot of that spotlight. But they not nothing without them other 4 guys.
Absolutely.
Regardless to what they doing out there, they got to have 4 other guys, you know, to get it done. You know.
Yeah. Monroe said even Batman needed Robin. Good point. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Super Friends as well. You know, you gotta have some help. You gotta have help out there.
And I think that arguably at a certain point during that Bulls run, you could argue that Scottie Pippen was the second best player in the league.
Bingo.
Yeah.
That's
sure.
my
Absolutely.
yes.
For sure.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no question about that.
Yeah,
for sure.
You can't, and Dean probably going to saying the same thing. When people said Magic at certain times was the best player in the game, you can't base it a lot of times on just statistics, because you can get somebody coming in and score 25. But when you got a guy like Pippen running that offense, or Magic running that offense, facilitating, allow Jordan, when Jordan came out at the end of the first quarter, Pippin ran that team seamlessly. And that's what people don't realize in 92 Olympics, in my opinion, the best two players in the world played for the Chicago Bulls. And I'm the biggest Magic. At that point, Magic was, dealing with what he dealt with. Well, ain't no way in the world you couldn't tell me the Bulls ain't had the two best players in the world.
No,
Flat
that's
out.
facts. That's facts.
Because his all-around game is spoke for him. Yeah.
So let's talk about Magic, right? So I think because Magic dealt with his situation, he was what, 30, 31, 32 years old.
Yes.
And Magic still had another 4 or 5 years. Could have been more of very high level basketball level.
Yeah.
He just didn't have the Showtime guys around him. The Lakers was in transition. He was still, I just think Magic would have still been Magic. I think Magic would have been Magic, man, regardless. And maybe they would have put some guys, if the HIV thing never happened, had they been able to put some guys around them, we don't know what it could have been, because he was such a great player.
Yes.
And he made other people better. But I hear people say, well, Magic was old. He was kind of washed up at that. I'm like, nah.
No,
he just
his
didn't
career
have
was cut short.
Yeah, but even when they lost to the Bulls in the championship, I mean, look at his cast, man. He didn't have the 80s. They wasn't the 80s Lakers. They was just a Lakers team in transition, and they probably got to the finals basically because of Magic.
Right.
Well, they also had a lot of players but I'm gonna tell you something. Even during that time, to get to the finals during that year, it was grueling just to get there out of the West.
Yeah,
you going 7 games. You going against people like Dallas, Houston, San Antonio,
Utah.
Portland, Utah. It was a gauntlet just to get there.
yeah.
Then when you had Worthy hurt and a few other players hurt, which I'm not giving no excuses because the Bulls were just a great team. But I'm telling you, man, not knowing that he, that summer, he would, be out of basketball for a little while. So
yeah. But I kind of, I cringe a little bit when people be talking about he was old, he was done.
No.
Like, nah, Magic wasn't done. He had some more to offer, man. It just, situation happened, and it is what it is. But he wasn't done by a long shot. He was one of them guys that would have played until he couldn't play no more. And because he loved it that much.
And 6 degrees of separation, we talking about it. I think Phil Jackson in that series did one of the smartest things to win that first championship, because he knew the Lakers had some players that were injured or, not playing up to par at that point. He put Scottie Pippen on Magic Johnson every game, every minute.
Yeah.
And he made Magic was so used to coming up. Magic, for a big man, he was quick.
Right.
Scotty made him work 94 feet.
Right.
Every time he got the ball, Magic was exhausted.
Right.
Scotty was in his shit all those games.
Right.
And I think, obviously, Magic, Michael deserved the MVP. But I tell you what, I wouldn't have been mad if they gave that MVP to Scotty. Because he took one of the best players in the world and made him work every minute.
Yeah, Scotty is definitely like Dean said, he was the second best player in the league.
Oh my goodness.
At that time, and nothing to be ashamed about for his career at all.
Nah,
you played with the best player in the world at that time. So, you take the good with the bad, man. And like I say, Scotty gonna sell some books.
I'm gonna buy it.
I think I may. Big fella, let me ask you a question. how do you and everybody else? How do you see how Scotty was played during Last Dance? Like his role. Did you see it as problematic, like how he was portrayed in The Last Dance?
That's a good question.
I don't, because it was nothing new. Like nothing
Exactly.
that I saw in The Last Dance was news to me.
Exactly. Right.
Like I remember all that stuff happening. I remember the contract.
Right.
I remember
Exactly.
it was an issue with him signing the contract that he did. It was a bad business move.
Right.
You know, I remember that. I remember that being a bad business move when it happened. You know, I mean, if you're gonna tell a story, you gotta tell it. You know what I'm saying? Could Mike have stepped up to and spoke up for Scotty a little more? Possibly. You know what I'm saying? It's possibly, but you know, I don't know Mike personally. But Mike is not a guy that stepped up and spoke out about a lot of stuff.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the fact that he would step up and speak out on somebody else's business at that time, I don't see Mike doing that back then.
Nah, yeah, I can't give him a pass on that one though. I love Michael Jordan.
It's not a pass, but that's just who he is.
No, I know. I know that's who he is, but I'm saying, if any of y'all, if we want a ring, and I'm getting $20 million, and I knew this guy was my main road dog, you can't tell me I'm not gonna go in and say, you know what, CB, without him, we wouldn't have got them rings. Do what you got to do to get my man paid. It's nowhere in the world, man. I'm telling you, there's nowhere in the world I would not have said anything.
But I don't think that was the issue. I think the issue was Scotty took the deal, the first deal that he took, that handcuffed him.
Sure.
On the back end. That was the issue, that he took a deal that a lot of people told him he shouldn't have took. But he took the deal.
But Michael Jordan said the
Michael
same
Jordan
thing.
said he told him that.
Right. So if he told him that, why couldn't he go to the Bulls ownership and say, you know, you giving this man a raw deal? I know we ain't supposed to be in another man's pockets.
Yeah. But like I said, I think at that time, the deal, he was already locked into the deal is what the issue was. He was locked into the deal, and he was griping because he felt like, damn,
I'm calling him right.
Maybe I should be getting some more. I should have been getting paid a little more. You know what I'm saying? But he was already locked into the deal. That was the issue. That was the bigger issue, that he was locked into this deal. And then after the fact, Scotty felt like, well, damn, you know, maybe I shouldn't have, you know, locked into this shit.
Right.
And maybe and then knowing his position on the team, knowing he was the number 2 guy,
right.
That he felt like, all right, shit, I'm in position to make some noise and go get some more money. Or whatever it was he was trying to do, trying to force.
Jerry Krause said no. He said, look, you signed the contract. This is what you signed, and we are not. He was looking to renegotiate.
Right.
No different from what players today. You know,
exactly,
like
right.
You sign a contract,
and that's probably my point.
Yeah, you know, you sign a contract, and you know your value starts to exceed what you signed on paper.
That's
and
my
then
point.
now
Yes.
you're like, oh wait.
Yes.
Wait. I need more now. And I think that at that point, I don't know whether Scotty feels this way, but like outside of the Chicago locker room, I think there's this feeling that because of Scotty's role on the team, that Mike should have went to Krause and Reisendorf and look, I need Scotty. You need to pay Scotty. And I'm saying people outside of the locker room, I think most people would say, had Michael went to Reisendorf and Krause and said, give that man more money, it would have been done. But the thing is, and this is what I'll say, you know, we not just us, but people will always, you know, in this case, look at Michael and say what he should have done, right? Yeah. But then when you look at Michael as to what he has said and done, that would have been outside of him. Like that wouldn't have been a normal expectation, because there was nothing, at least up until that time, that suggested that Mike was that type of dude.
Okay.
Everything we have read and understood about Mike up until that time understood that he was exactly that dude that was not going to go to ownership and say he was that dude. And so, you know, all the stuff that he did in the locker room, like he was that dude. Yeah. And so we want him to be, you know, the other dude, but it's like, no, this is who he is.
Yeah. But let's not forget, Mike didn't have a long-term deal with that time either. He was year to year.
Exactly.
He was renegotiating every year.
And he didn't get paid until his very last contract, I think.
And the thing with Jordan is that he signed a deal at one point and he became much bigger than his deal. His value,
for sure,
way beyond the deal. But Jordan, he played out his contract. Mm-hmm. He didn't make no noise. He didn't cry. He didn't go back. He played his contract out because he signed it. And that was his mindset when it came to a contract. And that's why I don't think he went to go stand up for Scotty when Scotty was trying to renegotiate before his deal was out. Jordan played his all the way out. And there were many players in the league that was making more money than Michael Jordan when he was clearly the top dog out there. So so Jordan is not going to do that because that's against his principles. And then Jordan, again, is looking at the legacy, his legacy, and looking at the Chicago Bulls legacy. So he was obviously upset with Scotty when Scotty pushed off his I guess an operation on his foot or something. And it delayed him coming to the team. And so that's where Jordan was saying that Scotty, you're wrong. But the thing about the whole Last Dance thing that I think, again, the whole book thing to me is Scotty making money. And I think maybe Jordan understand that too. And there's got to talk about Jordan. But when you look at the Last Dance, and it's not for, you know, I heard Kenny say it wasn't nothing new. He knew he was close to the Bulls. He lived through it. But the Last Dance is more for folks who didn't live through it. And these people who watch the Last Dance, they come away from watching that thing like, this Jordan is a bad motherfucker. I mean, this dude, and some of them are saying he is absolutely the greatest, no question. But you don't come away from the Last Dance knowing how great Scottie Pippen was. And I think that's what Scotty is feeling from the Last Dance. It focused so much on Jordan that it never really let folks know how great Scottie Pippen was. And even, you know, Dennis Rodman, to a certain standpoint, the role that he played in the championship.
Yeah.
Good point.
That was a mic drop.
Yeah, dang. Yes,
that was
indeed.
a mic drop.
Yes, indeed, dog.
Yeah, but
what the fuck is up with Dean? God damn, he did it again. Woo! I had to give him the Ric Flair on that shit. Woo!
Yeah.
I don't know what Dean is doing when he goes off screen, man, but I want some too, man.
Look. Can I just say, first of all, he ain't in the Bin Laden cave this week. You notice he got the triple HD camera working.
I saw that, man.
Yo, he looked like he'll
vibe, man. He
looked like he'll ESPN.
You want to say
you inspired me, Cheese.
Not only that, I'll give a shout out to Kenny's microphone because that's straight up. That's first take material right there.
Already. Shout out to my son, my engineer, Kenny.
Woo.
Yes, sir.
With the microphone, you know what I mean?
All right.
Yes, sir.
Looking good.
Hey.
Yeah, we getting there.
In the heat.
I'm just dealing with
you all made great points, man. That's great dialogue on that.
Grandson. So when y'all see me bounce off, I'm dealing with a little sick grandson. So that's what I'm bouncing off.
Okay.
Yeah. Hope you get better, man.
That's all good.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna pick up Scotty's book maybe sometime this weekend because I usually I'm heavy into like politics and such, but you know usually when that sports book comes along, like I didn't get John Thompson's I think the book came out maybe around a year ago around Christmas. That one I did not get, but like there's this ESPN reporter Brian, I can't pronounce his last name. It's a
Windhorse.
Windhorse. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
And he has written 2 books about LeBron. They're very good books.
Wow.
And like back in the day, like Phil Jackson used to write like all the time, you know. So I used to buy his he has like pretty good writing. And I think Shaq I wrote a book about like I forget the championship
Mhm.
season. I forget which year. Maybe it was like their last one.
Mhm.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what Scotty got to say, man. You know, if
Mhm.
he's going what he gonna drop, man. You know,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, Scotty.
that's
Could be,
cool,
could
man.
be.
And I'm a supporter, man. I mean, um,
I
think
like
he could
Scotty.
do-
You know,
yeah.
I just you know. Just in terms of his legacy and whether this book and him, you know, saying whatever he's saying, whether that's going to tarnish what he done on the
Mhm.
floor. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Mhm.
That would be a shame, you know.
Yes,
But,
it will. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
but this
I
is just
think
like a temporary though.
I think part of that too is this, you know, like I think like Dean broke it down, is like you come away not really understanding the impact Scotty had during
Right.
his era. You know, he
Right.
wasn't in the way we label these guys now, you know, you got a Batman, you got to have Robin, like I mean, you know, I think sometimes we overdo it, that we got to have the alpha, and then, you know what I'm saying, it's all we got to have this or that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, man, we underappreciate guys because we trying to label them. You know, we trying to say this guy's better than that guy, or, you know, this person is more significant than that person on the team. And, you know, a team don't work without all 5 guys on the basketball court, all 11 on the football field. You need, everybody got a job to do. You know, no one job is more significant than the other.
Mm.
You know, a great quarterback is nothing without them guys up in front of them protecting them. You know, but, you know, linemen's highlights aren't we're not running to the TV to watch Jonathan Ogden highlights. You know what I'm saying? We're not running to the TV
But
to
my
watch
man
them
who caught that
highlights.
pass last night though was pretty good on the Dolphins. Come on now.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm glad you brought that up, because
What's up?
we were talking about at work about best players in the 90s.
Mhm.
One of my top 10 players was a lineman.
Mm.
And I went over because, well, like we all been in the sports. And I made it clear, and I wasn't bullshit. I told these guys that Larry Allen of the Dallas Cowboys
offensive
was
line.
one of the best offensive linemen I've ever seen in my life. He was dominant. And to me, as a football player, he was a top 10 90s football player. That was just something because Kenny brought up linemen. But
yeah. But see, you gotta think, you know, we look at sports a little different.
Yeah, we do.
Than the average. The average fan ain't looking at the line the way we would look at it.
No.
You know what I'm saying? The average fan, like you say, you look at what the TV show you. So the TV is showing you the quarterback.
Yeah.
You know, you can't see what's going on down the field. You know, you ain't really paying attention to the trenches unless the quarterback getting hit.
Yeah.
You know, then the line not blocking, they're not doing their job. You know what I'm saying? So it's that type of thing. So like say a guy like Larry Allen, a guy like J.O., who rarely gave up sacks. You know what I'm saying? When he played with the Ravens. You know, I mean, there's been some very high quality linemen that's played over the years. You know, but you know, a lineman just not gonna get that love. They're not gonna get that shine. Like the glory position, the quarterback, the running back, you know, the wide receivers and tight ends. Really, over the last few years, you know, tight ends have really became a bigger piece as far as like standouts. You know, because it's always been good tight ends, but it seemed like you know, when you had the Shockeys and, you know, the Jeremy Shockeys and the Jimmy, I'm blanking on Jimmy, not Jimmy Smith.
I know you talk about. He played with the.
He's with the Saints for a while.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah, like them type of guys. The guys like
Jimmy Smith.
No, it wasn't Jimmy Smith. It was another
no.
Jimmy. I can't think his name. I'm blanking.
I can't think of his name. And then you had the guy Gonzalez with Kansas City.
Kansas City. Like you had them guys, man. They kind of revolutionized the wide receiver. Gronk. You know, Gronkowski up there with Tampa Bay in New England. Like they revolutionized what tight ends do. You know, tight ends became the focal point of a lot of offenses. You know,
Right.
really the offenses started going with it based off the tight end. You know, where before it was the running back. You know, it was, you know, we grew up where it was Earl Campbell and Tony Dorsett, you know, Walter Payton, Franco Harris, and them guys.
Right. Today is Greg Kittles.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it just the evolution of everything,
He's
man.
good too.
I look at the way just these games in general, the way we look at them. Because like somebody was talking about like there's really no point guards in the game. More combo. You got more combo guards than really natural point guards. No big men in the game no more. You know, and that's something Brooks, you had brought up about talking about that. You know, the evolution of the game. We definitely gonna do that on another series, man. We're gonna kind of look at that game. And I reached out to a couple of younger guys too.
Okay.
That you know, that may come on with us when we do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so give us that young man's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
You know, don't want to look at us these old men perspectives. Y'all dinosaurs. You know, y'all talking about
Exactly.
you know throwing it in the shack.
Right.
Hey, but let's not get it twisted. The NBA is watered down.
It's different.
Y'all might not want to admit it.
The young guys ain't gonna want to hear that, cheese.
Hey, you know what?
They
I
gonna
didn't
be
want to
mad
hear.
at you for that
I didn't
fake.
want to hear Janet Jackson ain't respond to my stalking emails either. Hey, but guess what? She did. She never responded. Yeah, it's true. I thought about this. I ain't going long. I know we about to get off, but you think about Kay Cunningham and the other guys that came out this year, and I kind of went on the list of the top 20 players that came out this year. Do you know not one of them players would have been in the top 20 in a 96 NBA draft?
I believe that.
Not one of them players. And I look, they showed the Detroit roster and the Houston roster. Each of them got about 7 or 8 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
And they suck.
Yeah.
And they
do.
was on TV last night.
Think about it. All the better teams in the NBA have older players. I thought about this too.
Even the Lakers.
Even the Lakers. I didn't say extremely older. I just said older. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's one of them things, man. I think some of these GMs they get too smart. And we going with the youth movement. You got to have some veteran presence. You know, it's always good to have some veterans that's been around that understand, even if you're not going to play a lot. Their value is so much more to a team than what they give them credit for. You know, It's always good to have some vets. So the last thing that I had on my agenda for the evening is Mount Rushmore of sports for each of you guys. So, you know, I guess Mount Rushmore for me is like the guys that impacted me the most in my lifetime from a sports perspective. That's part of it. The impact that they had. I look at what they accomplished in their prospective careers, in their prospective sports. And it's not sports specific. I'm talking about sports in general. So, you know, if you got a Mount Rushmore is what, 4 people. So it's hard to even limit it to 4 people. You know, it's hard to limit. I don't really like making lists. I'm not a list kind of guy, but it is what it is. It's one of them things. But, you know, just some thoughts on you guys. Who would you have on your Mount Rushmore of sports?
It was only 4, huh?
Yeah, so we're just gonna go with 4.
Okay.
Just like the Mount Rushmore out there in South Dakota somewhere.
That way it is. Okay.
The Black Hills. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we gonna stick with 4. So if you had a Mount Rushmore of sport,
I would go with for me, and there's one player that I can't remember his name, but for one, it's of course it's Ali. I'm going to go with Curtis Flood.
Kurt Flood.
I'm
Okay.
going to go with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Mm-hmm.
And number 4 is baseball player, Pittsburgh Pirates, passed in a plane crash.
Roberto
Clemente.
Boom, him.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's my
That's a great 4, man.
Yeah,
Jeez,
that's my 4.
There.
That's a great 4, CB.
That's my 4.
Wow.
What you got, Cheese?
Well, obviously.
I think. Well, let me say this. I think Ali gonna be on all our lists.
Yeah.
I think Ali is definitely gonna be on all of our lists. So
Yeah.
Ali and who else?
Kareem, definitely.
Yeah.
I kind of switch it a little bit because CB kind of I'm not gonna beat that list. When you think about the social impact and the impact they had on the field, I'm not gonna beat that list. Obviously I'll go with Kobe Bryant, personal reasons. And that 4th one, probably Magic Johnson. Obviously for personal reasons, but they all 4 have one thing in common, and that's the fact that they were able to leave a footprint outside the playing arena.
Right.
And I think as we get older, that speaks volumes a lot, maybe even more than what they did as great athletes. And I'll say it again, I said it earlier. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at 14 and 15 years old was so extremely impressive. And I can't imagine, being studious like that, have a keen sense of Black pride at that age.
Mm-hmm.
Simply amazing, man.
Yeah.
You talking about a kid who obviously was a great basketball player in the 9th grade at Powell Memorial, but his knowledge at 14, his cerebral thinking at 14, then going across the country. He didn't go to Fordham University, or he didn't go to St. John's. He could stay in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
He went all the way across country to UCLA and put a footprint on that university.
I think they
during
was paying
that time,
better. I think they was paying a little better at UCLA.
No, but to leave because there was a lot of things going on during that time. I mean, and at 17 years old, 18 going across country. I mean, he's one of the most impressive people I've ever read about in my life.
So, yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure. What you got, Dean?
Yeah. I and like you said, of course, Ali, I think is on everybody's list. Of course, he's on my list. I think the whole thing, I think maybe a couple of weeks back, y'all were talking about the GOAT for this, the GOAT for that. And I think, when I hear all these players talk about who's the GOAT in football and basketball and this and that, I just look at that whole conversation, which is going to go on forever. I look at that conversation as paying homage to the GOAT, Ali. To me, in sports, he is the GOAT. And I think him talking about himself as the greatest of all time, when all these people are now athletes and fans are talking about who's the GOAT, it goes all the way back to Ali. And, so I always look at that as them paying homage to Ali. Yeah. So he around Mount Rushmore for sure. I also got Michael Jordan up on Mount Rushmore. I just think that Jordan was so huge, so and so spectacular during that time with the Bulls. I mean, you could just talk about so many things. Jordan, the Chicago Bulls had higher ratings than the Los Angeles Lakers in LA during Showtime.
That's an absolute fact.
And that's big. That
And I was big on Showtime.
Bulls was being watched more than the Lakers during Showtime in LA. That's how big this Jordan cat was.
Yeah.
You know, so Jordan up there for sure. Huge dude. I got Jim Brown up on Mount Moore.
Nice.
This cat, man, played 9 years in the league. And you know, of course, my father was in my ear about Jim Brown. And he played 9 years. He led the league in rushing 8 of those 9 years. He won 3 MVPs. He retired at the age of 29.
29.
And he had won the MVP that year when he retired.
Sure did.
This dude, Jim Brown, man, is the epitome of what a running back should be. And I got him as my greatest all-time football player. So he's up there on that Mount Rushmore. And the fourth person up there is Usain Bolt. This cat, man, on that track, man, what that dude was doing, you know, over these Olympics, three Olympics, pounding his chest, you know, 80 meters out from the finish line, he pounding his chest, breaking world records, running 19:19 in the 200 meters, and his records still stand. And I just think that he was a force globally that you just don't see that too many times. So it's tough going to 4, but those are my 4 right there.
Great list, man. Great list, man.
Great names. Wow. I mean, all you guys, man, great names.
Yeah.
Of course, I got Ali on mine. You know, probably the first athlete that was visible to me. You know, we on a big scale, because I was, I would watch TV with my grandparents, and Ali would show up anywhere. He would be on Mike Douglas. He, you know what I'm saying? You see Ali on I remember I seeing Ali on Candid Camera. So Ali was everywhere. He was doing TV. He was career was winding down by the time I really started watching. Like, I remember seeing him fight Larry Holmes. I remember watching that fight. I remember watching him fight Leon Spinks both times. So that's kind of when I kind of saw him fighting. But he was more of a personality to me. When I started watching sports, he was more personality than in the ring. So, and then understanding what his impact was in the ring as I got a little older, and really, got to know who this guy was and what he stood for and all of that. So Ali for sure is there for me. The second person, I would say Michael Jordan for sure. Huge impact on me, just from a basketball standpoint. Just kind of watching his career. Like I said, I watched him at Carolina. Saw what he was able to do. Nobody on the earth figured he was going to become what he became when he left North Carolina. Right. And to see that growth and to see that movement, because it became a movement, the Air Jordan movement, man, it was, for me, probably one of the he probably had the most influence on me just because of the timing, the timing of everything. I was like 13 or 14 years old when he came up. So Michael Jordan would be 2. The last 2, like I said, it's tough. It's tough for me to. It's tough to pick 4 anyway, because there's so many people that have just because of what they do on the field or the court or whatever their sport is. It's tough. But the third person for me is going to be Eddie Murray, and he probably wouldn't make nobody's list nationally. But for me, a local kid, Eddie was the guy. You know, Eddie was the guy in the late 70s into the early 80s, right when I first started playing baseball. You know, Eddie was the guy, he was the cleanup hitter. He always had the big hits, the timely hits. The Orioles were relevant every year during those first, those late 70s, early 80s, they were relevant every year. And Eddie was an assassin. You know, Eddie was an assassin, man. He had a hell of an impact on me. I played first base. Of course, when Cheese was pitching, I would play first base. Cheese was the first baseman, but I played first base. I wanted to be like Eddie. Didn't get the switch hitting part down, but Eddie was huge. So, we're talking Ali, Mike Jordan, Eddie Murray. And the fourth one, another, like I say, for me, because it's so many people that I could pick. What you say?
And I guess who you gonna say?
Yeah, let me see. What you got?
You can say Reggie Williams.
Nah, I can't put Reggie on.
Okay, all right.
I already say we gonna crush that motherfucker.
I can't put Reggie. Reggie, my guy. I can't put Reggie up there. I can't put Reggie. I'd have put Big John up there before Reggie.
Okay, gotcha.
I was going to say, Kitty.
Good point.
I'm sorry. I took a hatchet to that mountain if you put Reggie Williams up there.
Reggie. Reggie's bad boy.
I'm just kidding.
No Reggie Williams slander here.
I'm sorry, man. My bad. On the sports mix. My bad.
So my fourth person is going to be Ray Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, me and Dean have had conversations over the last probably 20 years. And I know we talked specifically about this motherfucker here, this 52, man. And I just remember, I wasn't the guy that watched a lot of college football, prior to getting the Ravens. So I didn't really know a lot about Ray Lewis when they drafted him. But I just remember the very first preseason game that I watched. Didn't know much about this motherfucker, but I knew he was in every goddamn play.
Every play.
And I'm like, man, who is this guy? Who is this Ray Lewis, man? And I'm talking about every play. Shit was amazing to me. This is just preseason. And it didn't stop. You know what I'm saying? It didn't stop.
Yeah.
And Ray Lewis, again, he one of them guys. He had a personality. He wasn't for everybody. His personality wasn't for everybody. Everybody didn't like Ray. He was the dancing and all the little extra stuff that he did. But on Sunday,
I thought Ray was great. Yeah.
On Sundays at 1:00, if nobody else showed up, you knew 52 was going to show up. And he made some of the most incredible plays, man, that I've seen from that middle linebacker position.
True.
So for me, Ray Lewis, Mike Jordan, Ali, and Eddie Murray.
Ray Lewis, man, one of the top leaders.
Yes, indeed.
Sports.
Yeah.
Totally agree, Dean.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was fantastic, man.
That was great, man. Think about some of the ones, who didn't make the list. Man, I had some folks that popped up in my mind, like cats like Sugar Ray Robinson and Michael Phelps, Deion Sanders. I had and I don't know if anybody else even thought about this, but what's her name? Serena Williams was hot about this.
I had them both.
Yeah.
I had them both. I was thinking Venus and Serena because
man. Serena.
It's crazy. I was watching, the movie great come out about their dad.
Yeah.
With Will Smith starring in as Richard.
That'll be
I was watching. I think it's next Friday.
Yeah, next Friday. I was watching a video this morning. Will talking. Will was with Serena and Venus. They were talking about the movie. And, just talking about the impact that they had.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? The impact that they had on tennis because, coming from where they come from, the obstacles that they face. And according to, I think Venus, one of them said it that it wasn't just them two. Richard wanted all his girls to play tennis.
Mhm.
It's just that Venus and Serena are the ones that kind of popped up. You know, the other girls didn't really take to it like they did. And they said you'll see this in the movie when you know when you see the movie that you'll see that.
Wow.
You know,
That's
Richard was
awesome,
really
man.
trying to get all his girls to play.
That's awesome, man. And I'm sorry,
Go ahead,
Kenny.
go ahead.
Isn't it
No, go
crazy how you have some dads like who can see their kid's future better than anybody else's, like a Earl Woods or Earl Woods. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the little documentary it had on HBO,
Yeah,
but man, one of the things we talked about it earlier, and few things, especially in sports, make my eyes water where you kind of feel it. And when his father said that Tiger is going to be my gift to the world, I sat back. I did just like this. I said, this dude is on a different level. For his father to say that at a very young age, knowing that his son was going to impact the world like that, is truly amazing.
Yeah, and we definitely gonna have to do some stuff on that too. You know, the Earl Woods, the Richard Williams, you know, even the Ball brothers, their father.
Yeah.
You know, how he's pushed his boys to you know become superstars.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's a something that's worthy to discuss. You know, because we and really we need to prop these guys up.
Yeah.
Because if we had listened to the media told us all of them guys was crazy. And they need to just back up and shut up and let the kids do what they do. But the kids aren't who they are without that motivation. You know what I'm saying? Without them dads, like you say, understanding and knowing that these kids have something to offer the world, not just these individual sports. They got something to offer the world. You know, think about Venus and Serena, the impact that they have on women's tennis. You know what I'm saying? Over the last 20 years. You know, Tiger Woods was
Black
having
women
people
in
watch
general.
tennis. Yeah, black women in general.
Black
but
women, yeah, man.
Tiger Woods had people watching golf, me included, that wouldn't have watched. I wouldn't have sat down on a Saturday or Sunday to watch not even a half a round of golf.
Please, he got me and Charles to play 20-something years ago.
Yeah,
We wouldn't have played, man.
You know, that's impact. And outside of sports, I mean, we talking about, you know, dads that had that vision. You know, I know Dean, you gonna feel this one.
You know it.
that Joe Jackson, man.
Oh my
Damn
goodness.
right.
Joe Jackson was a visionary, man. He saw
right.
something in them boys.
In fact,
You know,
I think Joe influenced a lot of these other cats with their in the sports.
Totally.
yeah, yes, absolutely.
I agree, Dean.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know,
And he made it. Yeah.
But them guys, man, because their personalities, they are not polished. You know, they not polished media wise. You know, Joe Jackson type tell you kiss my ass.
Yes, it was.
You know what I'm saying? And go about his business. My boys is millionaires. You know what I'm saying? You know, Joe didn't give a fuck.
And it wasn't even their job to be polished because we all know older guys in the neighborhood we grew up with like that.
Absolutely.
Joe was ready to kick. Joe wanted to kick Barry Gordy's ass.
Yeah.
You know, Barry Gordy had some golden gloves in his history. Do a little boxing.
Yeah.
You know? But that thing about dads, it goes a long way, man. Even prior to Joe, I mean, and so many others. You can think about Beyonce's father was so influential in her life, man. I mean, Sammy Davis Jr. There was a Sammy Davis Sr. who did that. Bought him, man, at the age of 4 and 5 and took him out on the road. You know, there's Roy Jones Jr., but Roy Jones Sr. was a fighter, you know? And so there's so much of that goes on. And it always seems like the a lot of time them daddies, man, were villains to the media, really kind of hard on them guys.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. But that's something, man, we can, you know, take a little deeper look at on another session, man. Just the impact and I'm sure it's more once we do a little homework. We'll come up with some more names, but those are the names that stick out.
Yeah.
And it ain't about all sports. So
Yeah.
the Joe Jackson fit right into this conversation.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys know that I'm an animal lover.
Nah, we didn't know that.
I just want to do a brief reenactment. If somebody was to put Secretariat as one of the top, this is what happened. I'm just telling you, this is what happened.
You muted. I needed to hear that.
No, that was my point. I'd have muted the shit out of my microphone. Like, what the fuck is he talking about? Secretariat, you kidding me?
Right.
Hey, Secretariat was a bad boy, but come on, man. But you remember ESPN did that shit. Remember that?
People do that. Yeah, they do that shit, man.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes, man, the motives be so off, because he want to slander somebody else.
Yeah.
Here in Baltimore, we talking about Matt Stover, Jonathan Ogden, and the kicker we got now, Tucker, as the greatest Ravens ever. Now, I've heard this. I usually don't pay much attention when I hear it because I know what it's about. You know what I'm saying? I know what it's about.
Who said that?
It's people that said, if you listen to enough sports talk, you gonna hear it enough.
I don't get high, but I like to get what they smoking. Yeah. Who said that?
Bruh, I've heard it so much over the years. I understand the value that all of those guys brought to this team. But that 52, man. I can't say it no other way. And number 20 was a close second over all of them guys. You know what I'm saying? Ed Reed was a close second. When we talking greatest Ravens, I mean, it's 52 and 20. And then everybody else can kind of, fill in. How you want to fit them in there?
CB, did you know that Clemente was on a goodwill mission?
Mm-hmm.
He was incredible, man.
Because there was I think it was like an earthquake or something like that, and he was delivering food and supplies.
Mm-hmm.
And if I understand the story correct, it was too much for the plane, and the weight brought the plane brought the plane down. I remember that story from when I was in the 4th or the 5th grade.
Yeah.
And it just always stayed with me. I think somebody wrote a book about him I don't have it, but it's a book I'm interested in reading. I think one came out about maybe like a year ago, maybe.
He's an incredible man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible man.
A hell of a ball player too.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah, good ball player.
He was one of them guys with Ted Williams, and those guys just thought he 5-tool player.
He ripped the threads, man, in that world.
Yeah.
Erto Clemente. Yeah. The plane hadn't went down then because he was around.
He was still. Yeah, he fucked them up, man.
Man, real. Man, you know what, man? Some of these names that we threw out was so amazing, man. And when y'all talked about like a Jabbar, now, a lot of times, to me, if you take high school, college, pros into the equation, you probably looking at Jabbar as the greatest player of all time. His high school career was just
unmatched,
phenomenal, power, phenomenal. What he did at UCLA was phenomenal.
Unmatched.
Game, or maybe lost one game when he got stuck in the eye and the Big E and then beat him, Houston. And then you take him to the pro. I don't know how many rings he got, 5 or 6 or whatever.
6.
Overall, taking high school all the way through, you're probably looking at Kareem as the greatest basketball player ever.
Oh, man. Like I say, that's just on the cusp. And when you get, I talk about all the time. You guys, I enjoy talking to you guys so much because you all got layers. And Kareem is one of them guys who has layers, knowledge, wisdom. Yeah.
Shout out to Kareem.
Shout out to
You know,
Kareem,
shout
man.
out to Kareem, man. Much respect to the captain.
Unbelievable, man.
Really.
Yeah,
Lou
much
Alcott
respect.
Wow.
That's right.
Yeah.
and Kareem.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
I can't say,
That's
and you
right.
know what? We talk without yeah. Yeah, Cam. I can't say his name enough, man.
That boy. That boy.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question real quick here. So let's just shout out to who we may have up on Mount Rushmore as females. I know we mentioned the Williams girls. Who else, as far as females, we're looking at as putting up on Mount Rushmore for the females?
That's a good one.
Wow. Cheryl Miller.
Cheryl Miller is one that come to my mind too.
Cheryl
She
Miller will be one.
a basketball for me, female basketball.
That's a good question, man.
What's my
Yeah,
girl,
I had
man?
to think about that.
What's my girl, man, that just on the track and field?
Flojo?
No, not Flojo. The girl that just got won. She just got the record for the medals this year.
Elaine Thompson.
No. She just in this last Olympics, she just got the record for having the most medals.
Oh, Allison Felix.
Allison Felix.
Oh, Allison Felix.
Yeah, she's remarkable, man.
Yeah, you know.
She's remarkable.
Felix, tough.
The women's you know, so women and I don't think women's sports gets enough.
True.
I don't think they get enough. It's not visual enough, and that's a whole nother discussion to have. Just because
he said Chelsea Martin. Who's Chelsea Martin?
The boxer?
Nah, that's Christy Martin. I don't know who Chelsea Martin. Is that who you mean, Monroe?
Chelsea Martin from Turner's.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, hey, while we on here, man, we'll give a shout out to our OG Brian Fleming, man.
Yeah,
passed away.
Pete.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Real OG Brian Fleming, man.
Yep. Good dude too.
Passed away the other day. I want to send a shout out to a family.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah. As far as I mean, man, yeah, we definitely got throw that women's thing around a little bit.
Yeah, no doubt.
Come back on that.
You caught me with that one, Dean. I gotta think about that one, man.
I had to think about that too. Those are the two names in the
I will put Serena there though.
Martina
on.
Navratilova.
Yeah, she could be another one.
She was tough. She was tough in her run.
Billie Jean King. They
King, run.
Tennis girls. Tough.
Yeah.
What was the chick? Who was the female? Let me not call her
Jackie
chick.
Joyner Kersey could be, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Remember around in the 2000s, like the 90s, 2000s, it was a female that was killing it in the women's PGA.
And Sorenstam.
Sorenstam. Yeah, she was tough.
Yeah, he was good.
He was tough.
What you call might get Ali's daughter?
Yeah, what's her name?
Layla
Ali.
Layla Ali. She's doing her thing in boxing.
Yeah.
The young girl tough. The young girl is up there now.
Doing her thing.
She tough, man.
Who?
What's the young girl that box?
Hey.
The Whoop.
No, I ain't putting on my Mount Rush. Clarissa Shields.
Yeah, Clarissa Shields. I suck with names, man.
Sorry, man. You over 50 now.
It happens.
Over 50 now. Happens.
Happens. I'm gonna tell you, it happens.
What's in the red cup, CB?
A little juice, man.
CB is
a little juice, man.
Yeah. I like how you said that. You're real smooth, like little juice.
And the juice is smooth too.
That's what I'm talking about.
Just like CB.
That's what I'm talking about.
My man.
Yeah, I like that.
It's about to put me to sleep as soon as I come off
I
of here,
know.
though.
Yeah, I'm about to
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
I'm about
yeah,
to.
we wrapping it up.
Yeah,
We're gonna wrap it
yeah.
up. You know,
Yeah.
good session as usual. Thank y'all fellas for coming on, man. We had threw a lot of stuff around. You know, I'm fighting a little something myself. You know, had a little bug situation going on, so I'm feeling a little better.
Good.
Start taking
Good.
these narcotics they've been giving me. So
Hey, you as long as you don't shoot your shit up with bleach.
nah,
Who
I'm
did-
good.
Who did that?
I'm not saying nothing about a former president. Talk about people shooting that with. I just
Hey.
yeah.
And then listen, you know what? Today was the first time I ever had a COVID test.
Okay.
I went to I had to go to Express Care, not pay Express Care.
Yeah.
I was feeling so bad last night. Like I was really gonna go to the emergency room last night.
Oh my!
Before I went to sleep, things kind of settled down a little bit.
That's good, man.
So I said, well, let me see how I feel when I sleep.
Yeah.
And I really didn't sleep well last night. So I said, well, when I get up, I'm gonna go ahead and go.
I'm glad you feel better,
man. Yeah, because it felt like I've had upper respiratory infection before. That's what it felt like. You know, because it started off with my ear. Like I was having a little issue with my ear. Then
wait a minute, this ain't no Jordan ploy to say like, okay, you're gonna do the show. It's like the fucking flu sports mix game or what?
Hey,
I see where you going with this shit. This is a sports mix flu game.
Hey, and when I
but this is the question: who has a bad back? Who has a bad back?
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
Because when I rewatch it, I'm gonna have to count my points.
Yeah.
See how many points I had. Because in the game, I don't keep track of that stuff. I just shoot. You know
By the way, I
just
talk
shoot the
about
ball,
teared up. I teared up watching that game because I knew, and I'm a big sports guy, but I knew probably how Jordan felt, but I also knew Scotty was gutting that shit out, man.
Hey,
Scotty was gutting that shit. And we all know if you had back pain before,
yes,
how debilitating it is.
Yes.
That's the word.
You can't even stand up.
You can't even lay down right. It's hard to find a good position to lay down.
I watched that game and I'm like, good God, I know how he was feeling. So shout out to Scotty, that 300 million he about to make. Yeah.
He gonna get my money because I'm gonna get the book.
Yeah.
So and with respect to the flu game, food poisoning, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Just from personal experience, and it don't have nothing to do with sports. It's just, something about when you're not feeling 100%, and whether you go to work that day or, whatever it is that you do, you seeing that your focus is a little different.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? When you push through them kind of things, and so like, I'm not trying to equate myself to Michael Jordan by any stretch of the imagination, but to play under them circumstances when you're not 100%, you got to have the focus here. Your focus here got to be a whole lot different than it is when you feeling good and you just able to go out and play. You know what I'm saying? Because
I agree with that.
When you're sick, when you're not feeling good, man, it's just, that's really the number one thing on your mind is, I feel like shit, but I'm gonna push through and I'm gonna go ahead and get these 8 hours in, or, I'm gonna go ahead and do what I gotta do with the kids or whatever it is that we do, but you push through sometimes and we do thankless jobs all the time, especially as dads. I know too, you're not a dad, but you know what I'm talking about. You help people all the time.
Kenny, you think you slick? You think you slick?
Listen.
You are making this the flu game.
Hey, I'm feeling a little feverish.
Hey, you know what they say when people say, "Look, I don't mean no harm." Usually they gonna be harm, right?
Right.
I'm just messing with you, man. I'm
glad
that's
all good. But that's what we do.
That's what we do.
Right. We always take shots. People seem to like that. you know, the banter we had back and forth.
Oh my
you know,
goodness.
that's the feedback I've been getting. They like our flow.
If UNCB and Charles ain't get on me, I think something wrong, man. I think something was wrong.
Yeah,
As long
but
as you
know,
don't
and then-
mention those two initials, we all good. So.
No, that's all. I learned my lesson last week. I'm not gonna.
Hey, and then, but you also gotta.
Right.
We take shots. You know, we take shots, but you also got prop them up when it's necessary too.
That's true.
You know,
Yeah.
and I know, like I say, I know Cheese is a guy that does stuff for people all the time. You know, I know you had the campaign when you was taking donations and, you know, helping people out that may have needed some help. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, you know how we are. We don't really give you flowers for that, man. But that was big. You know, the fact that you thought enough of other people, man, in a time where most people don't even want to step up and say they need some help. You know, and you was able to do it anonymously, like you wasn't putting their business all out on social media and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I just wanted to prop you up for being the person you are. You know what I'm saying? Just being the guy you are, man. And like I say, I've known you all my life pretty much. Always been stand up, you know, pretty much since the beginning. But that's one of them things, man. People don't really understand. If they don't know you, you know, they'll think it's a motive behind why he doing that. You know, why he got to be. He did do it because he's just a genuinely good guy.
Yeah,
you know, good people, man. So let's give you props for that, man. And you know, anytime if I
we
can
all
help,
do that though, man. I mean,
we can help.
Yeah,
but you
all
know,
do that, man.
we gotta prop you up when we can.
Yeah, we're family, man. So
don't be so humble.
Oh.
Take these flowers that I'm giving you, brother.
No, I give you. Trust me. I told you.
The jokes is coming back.
Yeah,
you can believe that.
I told. No, but I told y'all a year and a half ago.
RG.
If I was to leave this very minute, there will be no mistaking that I'm gonna give all you guys your flowers. So you have no question.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's what's up.
Yes, indeed.
That's what's up. So yeah, so it's nothing but respect all the way around the forum here. So I respect each and every one of y'all, man. Everybody bring something to the table. You know, we able to have some good conversations. And like I said, I done did sports shows with all of y'all off of the air.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? At some point or another. So just the fact that we doing it and we recording it and broadcasting it is par for the course.
Yeah, glad you brought it to fruition, man, because I know, you know, it done popped up in our conversations, you know, over the last couple of years, at least 2-3 years. So yeah, I appreciate bringing it to fruition and I see Cheese dropping.
Oh, I can't be the only one that wanted no one come over there and hug Kitty, hug her take her to the bed, man. Make sure he go to like Scotty, Scotty hug Jordan.
Slow down, man.
Yeah, like Scotty, you know, Scotty with all those Jordan, like Black Jesus, thank you.
That's holy Kitty, walking Kitty.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Oh man,
that's great.
Fellas, it has been a great night of sports talk.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? We do it. I don't know if Friday's gonna be the night, but I know I got basketball season coming up, so I don't know how my Friday's gonna be looking, but
right.
Well, just play it by ear. You might catch somebody in the middle of the week or something. Never know.
Whenever we can get it in, I check and see who was available. You know, if it's something pressing, man, that we need to talk about. Because you know those things kind of pop up from time to time, little issues or little sports stories pop up that need some discussion.
Right.
And we'll pull the round table together and throw it around and see what we come up with. But appreciate y'all fellas.
All right, man.
I think Cheese, you missed the beginning when I started the show with Lamar's theme from BMF.
Yeah.
You can't stop the rain.
You can't stop. That means you about to kill somebody. God dang.
Yeah, buddy. he sang that shit too. Like he had a little rhythm with him. I said, okay.
Damn.
And then put the knife right in that motherfucker's stomach.
Damn.
Dang.
Wow.
Yeah. But man, fellas, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all night.
Okay,
man.
now.
And until the next time, man, we are out.
Absolutely.
Sports mix.
Up, y'all.
Peace, fellas.
Peace.
That's it.
Peace.
Till next time.